What is up, YouTube?
Yeah.
My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest on what's going on with our Dallas Cowboys, especially. It's day one of the draft. Let's see what's gone on with our Cowboys. Not just there, but in free agency. The last few kind of shakes and moves. Of course, have to discuss everything going on, but first, make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, guys, welcome in. We're back. I know
Yes.
it's been over a month, but family stuff, a lot of things going on. Also,
Life stuff.
life changes when it comes to promotions for people, and different schedule
Thank you.
changes. So
Yes,
when we have schedule changes,
MCW got a promotion, so
yeah. So now schedule changes have to happen, which means a lot less of these MCF after darks. I'm sorry, MCF, My Cowboys Family. After dark is where I do my magic, but that's not the football talk. That's the after hours. And it's not advertised, so you got to just find it. But yes, when we talk on our Cowboy football, it's been a lot less because number one, schedule changes, life changes, that kind of stuff. Number two, fuck Jerry Jones and the Joneses. Honestly, after the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, we've done one stream because I don't. They suck the life out of me. This fucking franchise. So even though I love that star and always will love that star for everything, I hate this front office. I hate all of them. I'm talking about even McClay and everybody. I hate the whole front office, especially the clown show, as you see there in full clown attire for this draft. Did they clown this shit up again? We're going to talk about it and more. Of course, no Zack Martin. You see the draft pick, but we'll talk about Mr. Tyler, another Tyler Booker, their offensive guard, first round pick for the Cowboys here shortly. First, let's get into the nitty gritty of the family here that we've been kind of tracking for the last, I'd say, month and a half, right? We got kind of a leaderboard here and some people representing this board. Like the man, the sponsor of the week. You see him there as the current Dream Boss.
That's right.
And the sponsor of the week for 6 straight times. The man, John Luna. You can see the
shout out to him.
Sponsor of the week.
Appreciate him, and of course, shout out to Charlie, his friend who's passed away. That the stream is in honor of still.
Yes, yeah, we've been honoring him for the last 6 weeks. Yeah. So when we're live, so big shout outs to John Luna, his buddy there, and again, all the information to help out that situation is in the description. In here right now, if you were to check it out. Now, of course, shouting out John Luna, he's representing 2 of the 4 parts of the board, actually 3 parts, because he's also the gifting membership champion from the last time, which is like a month and a half ago. And so big shout outs to John Luna. I mean, I think it's 6 in a row for him there too when it comes to gifting memberships. But we have new leaders now. And then we also have the Cash App King, which is Skeptical Fan. Shout out to Skeptical Fan, our last Cash App King. And our current Cash App leader, Skeptical Fan. He's got 2 on it. That's all you need right now. And he's in the lead on the Cash App side. He's also got 2 gifted memberships on the membership gifting side. So he is the leader on the gifting membership side. Although the overall leader trying to go for another sponsor win of the week, month, quarter year. John Luna is in first place still after another membership drop in there with him. Yeah, and many others that I got to shout out here. When it comes to, last time we met you guys, we were hanging around. I got to give extra shout outs to a couple of membership drops here, whether it was from people like Dwayne Broussard, Alpha Male Pimp, Roy Strasner, William Burney, JD from DC, the man, Justin Quarles, the Q man, John Syme. So many of you guys, big shout outs to Mr. A. Lavelle, who's jumped in the top of the list here. Also Gerald Swain. We got Darren Posey in the house, Tony Wimbish. Shout outs to you, Alanda Wanzalu, repping here still with us. Appreciate all your love. Aussie, of course, right there in second and third place, battling it with Skeptical Fan and John Luna. We got Amazing Games in the mix. Much love, Tammy Soltis. Always appreciate the love and support, guys. I know when we're gone, I know we apologize for the missed streams, but we appreciate your guys' love and support. We'll never stop talking about our Cowboys, even if it is sometimes once every month and a half, or sometimes it's going to be twice a week, 3 times a week during the season.
Yeah, so, we'll see. MCF offseason schedule here.
Much into that, along with everything else we talked about. The sickening Eagles win. Our schedule changes. On and on. You know what it is. But we're still going to keep it real with the Cowboys and never bullshit you. Of course, there's also a poll, so we want to hear what your thoughts are on this draft pick. And
yes, guys, as you make your way into the chat, make sure to vote for how you feel about the Cowboys' first round pick today. What are your thoughts and feelings?
I also want to shout out anybody who jumps into the, or not jumps into it, but knocks out one of our goals that we set today. Basically, I think it's $5 or higher. You drop in there to a Cash App and you hit 10 of them. Those names will be entered into a raffle to maybe win one of those jerseys. You say which jerseys? We'll show you in a minute. But it's those, we say monthly. Now it's kind of be like quarterly jersey raffles we're going to be doing. But before we get there, I do want to shout out every single person through every single way, not just the leaders and all that stuff, but different ways of dropping the love, which is either through the Cash App, as you see.
Yeah.
First drop here.
From the man, Skeptical Fan. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you there, baby.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the thing for some reason, but...
I guess YouTube forgot how to do super chats.
Yeah, I think we've been too
long. Speaking of, Skeptical Fan, huge shout out to him with a big ol' thumbs up and the super chat there with a $2 holler and a classic. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. And again, right there, right behind John Luna for first place. But yes, when I say that, I got to also say that Skeptical Fan, big shout outs to him in the Cash App. There's also other ways of dropping the love through the YouTube side of things, which is, as you see, gifting memberships. Jumping in the membership, joining the membership, or you could do the thanks button as well. There's also 4 other ways. That's more of I'm going to call it the after dark way, which you see there, Skeptical Fan. We've got the crown, the Cash App crown. It's Cash App, but there's Venmo, PayPal, and other ways, Streamlabs of dropping the love outside of the YouTube constrictions, so to speak. For those, baby.
Of course, you have the Cash App, money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-Cowboys-family. You have the regular PayPal link, and of course, the Streamlabs link there.
Which was just hit, by the way.
I mean, hey, you can't make that better timing. Yeah. A $10 holler and a classic.
Go Cowboys. Much love to the man, Cat 52. We've been missing all you guys. Trust me, the family. We've been with you guys for almost 9 years. We'll come up to 9 years in a month or two. So 9 years on YouTube doing this thing, almost on the nightly, definitely on the nightly for 8 years. But yes, that's another way of dropping the love. You just saw a Streamlabs kind of drop there.
Family can't see each other all the time doesn't mean it's still not family.
That's right. So big shout out to Cat 52 with the 10 on it. Jumping right up on that board. And Skeptical Fan who kicked it off on the Cash App side, which for some reason didn't come through there yet, but it should soon. It'll probably come up in the middle of the stream. Either way, John Luna down to 90 points on the stream boss.
Should be 88.
They should be. CD
right, some CD representation, which honestly ties back into some of our draft stuff. If you're thinking, receiver, number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver. Anyway, but we'll get to that because I'm seeing some comments too since we kind of talked about that and how people are feeling. So I can get to that.
Different ways of dropping here. Like you said, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, the Streamlabs we just saw. And there's also, like I said, the raffle entry. If we hit the goal tonight and we get 10 people dropping $5 or more in the Cash App side of things, if it hits that, all those names get put into a raffle and entered into this.
And the super chat side of things, by the way.
Oh, what did I say?
Cash App.
Oh, yeah, super chat. In the super chat side of things, not the Cash App, but still, any of those other sides, there's other goals you can hit through there, right? But on the Cash Apps, on the super chat side, it's been a long time for me. The star level members, the over everything level members, both those groups will be put into our quarterly. I'm going to call it quarterly jersey raffle, along with anybody who hit the goal on that day. So let's say we had 5 people. The 5 different people help hit the goal. All those 5 names. If you hit it 2 or 3 times, all those names will go sometimes repetitively to a special raffle. That then we will pick a name out there.
Multiple people. You can have
multiple. There'll be 4 names picked as well, and they will be put into this raffle with the star and over everything level members. Been a while since he said that, so Miles will go over that now. Also, I want to shout out those in those level memberships, like Ozzy, Skeptical Fan, and John Luna. I think I think somebody might have dropped out of that group. I think Skeptical might have dropped out, but my point is he's been in it for long enough. So shout outs to him. And if anybody jumps, I think he just jumped back in, if I'm not mistaken. So shout outs to everybody there on all those levels, star and over everything. And everybody who may be put into this raffle, the 4 names we pick in here in the next couple of weeks, as OTAs come close, or rookie OTAs and other things. But we're still doing the draft stuff right now. So as we move closer to that, baby, and we did our shout outs properly, this is the rest of the shout outs who's in the house here talking with us about some Cowboy football.
Yeah, I can't help but agree with a lot of the comments here in the chat, at least in some way or another. Don Oliver, what's up? Saying not getting quality free agents because we got to wait to see how the draft goes. Waiting to play players to see how the market goes. Pathetic. So I think that's a interesting way of putting some of the off-season stuff that's happened and some of the draft stuff
we
happened
call
so
that
far.
around here on this channel, right?
The Cloud Show. Oh, Madman, what's up? We got Jangly Echo saying, anyone who thinks that our first round pick is a bad pick, you're retarded. So, James Hurd, not a fan of the pick. So, I'm just saying, like, throwing out some of the opinions. We got a lot of different sides here already. So, Aztec Aguilar 04, what's up? Much love to you. Of course, got a shout out. Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's up? Cat 52 on a rare night off saying, finally, I get to catch you guys and I'm off. So, like, both the stars aligned.
Damn, hell yeah.
We got Skeptical Fan, of course, always staying skeptical, but always sticking with his team. We got Masha Smith, love and prayers. Appreciate you. Thank you. Paul Hadik, thank you. Appreciate the love there. Always well appreciated. Let me see. Trying to make sure we got Meatball Ron in the house saying next year the Cowboys select Tyler again.
I know. And we know he's an Eagle fan. So shout outs to him on the After Dark show.
Hey, I guess if you want your kid to grow up to be a cowboy, you know what to name him. Laura Crawford, what's up? We have, let me see, I know Ricardo Lewis is in the house. Brandon J. Scott Zilla, what's up? Sean Hopkins. Let me come back down. I think that's almost everybody here so far. So as people trickle in, I'll make sure to keep shouting them out. But baby, let me pass things off to you because, 'twas the night before the draft. I know we have some pre-draft things to touch on as far as when it comes to our Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, let's just talk about, again, I just want to before the draft occurred, we always like to say here in FCF, and again, usually we're, of course, much more often going live. If you see the After Dark stuff, you know what I do out there with my insomnia style, but I like to do this show with the wife. I don't want to just do football show by myself. Once in a while, yeah, sure, but
yeah, teamwork makes the dream work here.
Without her, it ain't no show here. So when it's tough to get these moments, but again, we knew this draft, of course, coming. We planned to do this after the draft to do this live stream, and she planned as well for her scheduling side of things, just for tonight and tomorrow, and of course the final night of the draft. So we'll be doing these the next 3 nights. It'll be quickies. They're not going to be 4-hour streams, but we like to dive deeper into these things and kind of give our thoughts on things, general thoughts on the players, and we want to know what you guys think about these guys. So that's the first and foremost thing. And then I also want to talk about, again, before this draft, it's always about free agency. What are the Cowboys doing? No DeMarcus Lawrence and his bullshit drama stuff going on. No backup quarterback. Trey Lance gone. He's in Tennessee now, I think, or in the Chargers. I'm sorry. Who cares anymore? Really, Dowdle gone. Everybody's look. The thing is, what do the Cowboys do to try to improve anything? And that has
to me, it's more confusing just because some of their off-season moves leave me confused once they made their pick.
Well,
that's the part
I'm going to throw in the off-season tracker of the players we've already spoken about here. If you go back a month and a half ago or so, a month and a week, 5 weeks ago, we had talked about every single one of these players here. You see some of the re-signees. Of course, Osa's the big one there, but you got C.J. Goodwin, Brock Hoffman, Tyrus Wheat, Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell, Trent Zieg, long snapper, Brian Anger, Israel Mukuamu, Dakota Shepley, a couple others on here. Kavate Turpin was a nice one there, right? And then you have some free agents from other teams. Paris Campbell, Dante Fowler Jr., which is, again, coming back to the Cowboys. Miles Sanders, old Miles Sanders now, right? Kenneth Murray Jr., good a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Jack Sandberg from the Bears, he's a special teams guy. Khalil Elam, which I hate that as a trade. Well, we had 10 picks left now. But Khalil Elam from the Bills, I like that. That pickup was all right. Peyton Turner's, Peyton Turner from the Saints, a nice little backup pass rusher kind of guy. Solomon Thomas, I do like that interior pick. A little bit of, maturity in the middle there. I like that pick. Robert Jones, all right. Javonte Williams, I liked him a lot before last year. But again, not, has some downsides to him, hence why we Cowboys going after guys like that. So this is the basic breakdown. And I do want to kind of go back to one of these guys, Robert Jones, 30 career starts, played in 49 games for the Dolphins, 17 games at left guard in 2024. So, he has some upside, and I'm picking offensive linemen for a reason here. You see offensive linemen there, we got one here in this group of guys here. From an outside source, not counting guys like Dakota Shepley, and any other. I don't know if there's any other guys on here that we got this offensive lineman outside of those two guys. Brock Hoffman, I guess. These are our own guys. Outside guys, Robert Jones, the only guy, and that's That's not great. But then the Cowboys decided to go and grab two more offensive linemen before this draft. Now, I say before this draft. It's not like the night before the draft.
Yeah.
I'm talking about literally, you know, 3 weeks ago was the last move the Cowboys made. Much love to the man Calvin Richard, who's making moves right here, dropping that $2 holler.
Thank you so much, Calvin Richard. Much love. He said that was a typical Cowboys pick.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say no to that.
But more of us were surprised just because I do feel like pre-Zack Martin retirement, there maybe was more internal talk or look towards maybe a more skill player position or just a potential different direction. And another reason I feel like that kind of backs it up is the fact that like these are the off-season moves that we made.
Yeah.
O-line.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems a little weird to get this many guys for one position more or less, or at least one general area, and then go and invest such a heavy draft into it. But I kind of said this in the chat. I think the Cowboys see Zack Martin retiring. That, along with some of the more recent draft moves they've made, this is like, oh, this is the renaissance of the O-line. We're going to bring it back to, because remember, back when we did it in 2012, 13, 14, that was the bringing back the renaissance of the original O-line. And now this is the 3.0. I do think the Cowboys, like, that's what
the way
they have
they're
in
leaning
mind.
in their heads. I mean,
and specifically Schottenheimer as well.
I'll
mention this later, but he quote unquote jumped on the table for Tyler Booker. So that shows you the excitement that our new head coach at least has and the direction that he's trying to take things in.
Good points right there. Cat 52, another 5 on it. It's another Cat 52 baby right now. He's moving on up this board quick.
That's right.
He is currently, I'm going to tell you right now, he's in 8th place all by himself. Just like that.
So, and he had previously made this comment saying that he wants to hear our personal, thoughts on the picks we're making tomorrow. The reason I say that is because he said that he wants to grab a top-tier coverage linebacker for our second pick. So, I would like to agree with you, but we are cursed as a team. I'm just throwing that out there. We are cursed to a level that is hard to, wrap my head around. Is every single time we try to draft a linebacker, it goes left. I feel like the only reason Micah even avoided the curse is because he's not even playing linebacker. He's playing D-line most of the time.
And he's not playing linebacker,
That's what I'm trying to say. So for whatever reason, it's like the Harry Potter Defense Against the Dark Arts position, where it's literally cursed. Every year there's a new teacher, because every year the position is cursed. That's us with linebacker.
I love the comparison, baby.
We'll get into it more when we're talking about the first round pick, but I still think that offensively speaking, we need more help when it comes to our skills positions. I will leave it there for now because I do want you to touch on a few stats and other things. That's not me disliking the pick either. So let me
got a couple drops here,
Jangly Echoes
$5 and Calvin Richard go back to back with the 5 and 8. We're getting close to that. Hey, we got 3 hits on that bullseye. We need 7 more.
And again, and this is where, I said, I'm ready. Because Jangly Echoes saying Booker was picked right where he should have been. Gray's Eagle was picked at 18 later, and then Golden at 23. Running back is deep, and there's still some dogs at receiver. We're good. So that's the one thing that I'm like, okay, for a number 2 receiver, which is biggest gaping hole right now offensively, it feels like, outside of the O-line stuff that we've already shored up, clearly, we do need a number 2 receiver. And the Cowboys, obviously, as much as we might want to, are not going to address that through free agency in any capacity. We are left at the draft. A second or third round pick could easily help fill that hole. I feel like third round pick, you're starting into some danger territory. But since we picked 12,
real miss with that second rounder.
12, that's where I'm a little bit more like, okay, maybe you can get away with it. But that's where, going back to Cap 52, where he said the thing about linebacker, that's where I think linebacker might be better off at third round, and then going receiver second round, because you still get you get the bang for your buck. And honestly, I am kind of banking a little bit on Overshown coming back. Hopefully at some point before week 8. I'll leave it at that. If he comes back at some point before the halfway point of the season, more or less, I will take that as a huge win.
Again, that's one thing I did not talk about was Overshown. The fact that he did say that he's going to be back a lot sooner. He said he's going to be back. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's saying that he's straight up said, he's like, don't count me out for week 1.
Now, guys,
he's not saying he's going to be ready by then. He's just saying don't count me out.
Well, that means don't count him out. That means don't count him out for playing. I'm telling you guys, it's bullshit. Overshown ain't playing anytime in the first quarter of this season, guaranteed. But we got other people here to talk about.
Albert Richards said with his $5 holler, he said, well, with what we're investing in the O-line, we better have a hell of an offense. And the one good thing about investing in the O-line, I will say, it does help the offense across the board. Obviously, Dak has helped out. You do help out the O-line like itself. The run game obviously benefits from that. So, it is good overall for the offense. Like I said, it's not that I dislike the pick. I was just personally leaning a slightly different way. That was it. So, Mark Hovsepian, a big mahalo.
Shout out to that man, Mark Hovsepian. It's been a while, my man.
You know what he said?
I really do. I could tell it's not going to be good.
He said, where have you been? Typical Jerry Jones pick.
Yeah.
He pats himself on the back. It's a bottom first high, like basically a first round pick that was like end of the first, top of the second round, but we picked him at 12? Total joke. Many players there that were much more highly rated.
Man, you realize I haven't said much, right? You realize I haven't said much, and there's a reason for that. And I want to make sure my wife, I want to make sure the family out there say what they want to say right now. Because I will have my thoughts on this. Not that it's end all be all, but I have my thoughts. And a lot of what you're saying, baby, I agree. And a lot of what Mark is saying, I agree. A couple of things out there I'm hearing are also right about the guy being a good future, good pick, and I'll talk about it. But my point here is I'm leading this on up to us here. And again, by the way, 4 out of our 10 hit already on the goal board. So we're 6 away from adding names into the raffle here, or adding 4 potential names to the raffle of a whole group of names for the last month and a half. So, and I say, we didn't hit it every time. I think we hit it like once or twice. So it'll be like maybe 10 or 15 names for 4 spots to add into the big raffle.
Yeah.
Probably at the end of next month or something like that.
So I'm going to read 2 or 3 quick comments, and then after that, I'll pass it over to you. Royalty Production said, I don't hate the pick, but I wish we traded back, though. Have a few points on that. Juan Carlos, what's up? We have True Cowboy in the house. Cap52 said, I don't know about trying to replace Zach Martin with anything but a first-round pick. Like, you can't really do that. And Cassie Stewart also, hello and hi.
Oh.
We got Tokyo in the house, but we also have Mark Hovsepian coming through. He said, his $5 holler. Let's pray that Henderson is in there in the second round. Any rumor as to if anyone offered us anything to move down? I'd rather wear a bikini with Whoopi Goldberg than hear Jerry Jones. Oh, I'd rather bikini wax Whoopi Goldberg than hear Jerry Jones. There we go. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Marco Sepian.
Whoopi Goldberg, man.
Bikini wax specifically. That feels personal there. And funny you should ask. Yes, I guess I won't hold it back now, but yeah, the Cowboys did call Houston, or Houston called them. There were talks. There's a reason the pick was submitted so close to the end there.
Right.
Till the last minute, the Cowboys are trying to make it work, but it sounds like Houston wanted a little bit more than Dallas was willing to give, and it wasn't just like from a pick perspective. It sounds like it was maybe like some money stuff or like a player stuff. It wasn't made clear, but the point is Houston was asking for more than the Cowboys are willing to give.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
Cowboys
things
said no thanks. We're going to go with Tyler Booker instead.
There was a lot of things the Cowboys were a lot of again free talk about the Cowboys maybe trading back with Houston.
Yeah,
that was specifically the trade back to 25. But the Cowboys were looking for alignment or something, and the reason that trade did not go through because there were too many future. Kind of trades and deals at hand. It was not something that was done. Like somebody wanted picks now. What I had heard, it was going to be future second round picks for the Cowboys. Cowboys wanted picks now this year. I think that was the big holdup. I think, but in the end, there was no trades done.
And to make it clear, it sounds like Houston was the only serious contender. Right. If anyone else, it sounds like the phones were dry outside of that. But the Cowboys, it sounds like they were hoping something would land. Like they were kind of, I don't want to say reluctant to stay there at 12 and just draft someone, but I do think they were hoping to luck out in their mind. Let's say they trade with Houston somehow, end up down to 25 and still get Tyler Booker.
And that's exactly what I think they were trying to do.
It didn't work out.
Big shout outs to Mark for his stuff. Other than the Whoopi Goldberg visual there. And by the way, we got Queenie popping in from the After Dark. She's a big Cowboy fan from Canada. now. I'm just saying she's Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
She's lucky number 7.
Go Cowboys.
Canadian $2 holler drop right there. Let's get that. We got to get 6 first. We get to 7. Cat 52, another 5 on it. What the man say, baby?
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Cat 52, saying, I have to be honest, I read that as I wouldn't mind a big booty. So I do apologize. Sorry. But he said, I wouldn't mind a big body receiver at 2. A bully that we can put in the slot next to a tight end and then have the defense pick their poison. This is where how much influence is Schottenheimer going to have? Because if he was able to advocate this hard for the type of offensive lineman he wanted, when he's thinking about the offense, right. Like, what kind of receiver is he looking for? Is he looking for that bully? Is he looking for that bruiser? Is he looking for, like,
I think that
more of like a skill finesse type of player?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're not really sure what we're looking for yet. There's a couple, Henderson, there's a couple options out there, but I'm telling you.
Maybe the surprise doesn't go tight end.
Well, if we go tight end, we're all going to fucking cry. Because we have Ferguson, we got shot fucking, what's his name? Spoon fucking Maker. We
almost called him Schottenheimer.
I mean, I'm just saying, we got other motherfuckers. We got undrafted gems in the rut. We can't fucking get them on the field. I'm saying John Stevens and what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? We had are we even using them properly? Like, do I trust Schottenheimer on that yet? He hasn't shown it yet. So if we haven't seen it and it's not trusting it, why am I going to put my bags in a fucking tight end? You know, I'm going receiver. And don't be surprised if running back is thrown in the mix here. But again, we lost Brandon Cooks. We have no number 2, and I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble, but Jalen Tolbert is not a number 2 receiver in the NFL as of now. Maybe he'll never be that. Maybe he'll be that in 2 more years. He ain't that now. Yeah. And if we draft the receiver here in the second round, he ain't ever going to be that as long as we keep CeeDee Lamb and the number 2 guy, you know, whoever it may be in the second round. But either way, I'm going way ahead of schedule here. I do want to shout you all out. Thank you, Cat 52 in the mix. John Luna down to 57 points. And I want to get this off the screen because I want to get to the draft part of things. So, and again, but more importantly, I want to hear what Cat 52 has to say. But that 5 on an and 3 away from hitting that goal. Hell yeah.
Oh, Cat 52 cracking me up with his $5 holler saying, I also wouldn't mind a big booty. Just kidding, I see no. See no jokes here. Okay, we
He's all not denying that. He just, you know.
In the famous words of the greatest rapper, 2 Chainz, and that's sarcasm.
Yeah, better make that clear because some people
got
believe
a big booty, so I call her Big Booty.
I quote Notorious B.I.G. in Too Short. Big booty hoes come with it. No, I'm just
hey.
That's too loud.
We can have like a wrap off and think of all the big booty quotes we can think of.
Yeah, that's tonight's theme. If I go live on After Dark,
booty.
Yeah, big booty.
There you go.
Anyways,
hey, we believe in all booties, but we do not believe in all shenanigans here when it comes to the Cowboys, at least. So, just messing with this. Batman's like, what's with this booty stuff?
I mean, that's After Dark.
That was a typo.
Let's stay with the current and my Cowboys family dressing Cowboys, and even if they won the fucking Super Bowl, fuck Philly.
Always.
Fuck the goddamn Eagles. Die, Eagles, die. Anyways, I'm off track for a second. Let me get back to my good zone. So, anyways, I do want to say that this tracker, there's some names here that are not on here. The Cowboys, like I talked about Robert Jones, an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. Right? A guy that they were supposed to use in there to basically help out the Zack Martin filling. That was what we were told. That's what we had discussed, why he was going to use as a guard and a tackle. Also, we heard about the swing possibility as a tackle, right? Or, you know, just a guy who's versatile on the line, started a lot of games. He's kind of he's a starter last year for every game for the Dolphins, although not the greatest stats. So, big question marks in my mind when it comes to Robert Jones. And not the old Robert Jones, number 55 linebacker with Dat Win. Not in the late 90s, 2000s, Robert Jones linebacker. We're talking about offensive lineman passed away now. Old man. I'd say not old man, but just not that great of offense. Not a starter type guy in Robert Jones, but still a guy that Cowboys were saying, well, he's going to be in that mix with TJ Bass and a couple others, you know? So, you know, Brock Hoffman in the mix. But these are all undrafted, I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Dakota Shepley, undrafted. All 3 names I just mentioned, undrafted. At least Robert Jones has a head start on over them. Over all 3 of those guys is what I think. At guard. So, looking at the offensive line, tackle, guard situation, Robert Jones helps somewhat. You see his OL there for a reason. Offensive line. He could play guard and tackle.
Yeah.
Right guard, left tackle is some of the talk I'm hearing. But he played left guard last year, and that's his main position. So right guard is he's gonna be he's more of a backup to your left side, Tyler Smith and Tyler Guyton. A lot of Tylers, another one coming on the way. By the way, we have a lot of Cat 52s as well.
That's right.
Shout out to the man Cat 52. What did he have to say?
Well, thank you. He said, any free agent wide receivers that y'all would like as our number 2?
Keenan Allen's out there. I know he's old man Keenan. He's probably going to demand a lot of too much money, but he's floating around. I'm not saying I even want him. I know these big names. Everyone goes crazy, starts jerking off to these fucking names. The Cowboys will never do any of this shit. But if I was out there, Keenan Allen's out there. A possibility.
I mean, he hits like 2 of the 3 boxes, but like you said, price-wise, and that tends to be the biggest box for Dallas. I have to be honest, though. Outside of maybe like 1 or 2 free agent receivers, I probably couldn't name too many of them because at least in my head, I had really put a lot of eggs in the Cowboys are getting a receiver basket. Like, I'm not even gonna pretend or lie or hide about that because I thought that was the move. So, not saying I was like somehow bowled over and blindsided when the Cowboys went, for an offensive lineman, especially a guard. Obviously it makes sense. But I still had all my eggs in the receiver basket. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, I completely just like took that idea out of my head for non-typical Cowboy reasons. Not even for the fact that we would never actually get a free agent receiver that's worth a damn.
Yeah. Well,
just for actual, assumed logistical reasons.
And I just want to make sure, I know I said Henderson earlier about receiver. I didn't want to get anybody confused. I'm talking about Trayvon Henderson, the running back, who I should have made clear is a guy that I think that, if I'm not mistaken, Marco Sipian mentioned, and I think he is a guy that we have to keep. That is steal at 44 for the Cowboys in the draft, in my opinion. It's the second best running back on this list. Gentry's, of course, gone already to the Raiders. I think we pick 8.
Yeah.
But Ohio State running back Trayvon Henderson, to me, he, getting a lot of big hype right now. So, again, right now we're pick 34 or something like this. We're 10 away, 12 away from the Cowboys getting a chance to go at that running back position. Again, let me focus on our pick today because, again, it's offensive guard. And I just talked about Robert Jones and offensive lineman. There are 2 other guys that are not having this list. And I want to make sure I kind of give you my thought as we're going into this draft. We didn't do our draft breakdowns. But here's the thing, and I wasn't going to fake it here with you guys and just say, oh, by the way, we've been studying this and here's what we think. No, because we were not into we didn't feel comfortable and confident enough like we did in past years. We would break this stuff. We would break these things down every other day with you guys. So we didn't want to come up here and be fake like that. But we did want to make sure we touch on my thoughts leading into this draft. So Robert Jones, we got, of course, Dakota Shepley and Brock Hoffman, and we got TJ Bass, and we got the bunch of Tylers and Cooper Beebe. And so, we have a lot of guys. Still got Terrence Steele on the right side. We got, no Zack Martin. He retired. And then we brought in 2 other guys. Sadiq Charles, a former 4th. Now, this guy we've talked about this guy before, Sadiq Charles. Never really ever that good of any kind of player. And he's just it never has really been great. He's a former 4th round pick of the Washington Commanders. He played in 37 games. He's now a Cowboy. And in those 37 games that he played, he started 25 of them. So he is a starter. Him and Charles Leno were out there with the Bears, and they're one of the worst tackle tandems in the league at the time, a couple of years ago. So again, with the Commanders, it's pretty bad, I think, with him and Leno out there, and then they moved to Chicago together. Pretty bad still. They were together the whole time. Now, it's like we get Sadiq Charles out of the group there. And again, most of his games he played at guard. You realize a trend here? So you're getting Robert Jones, really a right guard. I'm sorry, a left guard, left tackle type of guy, but the Cowboys kind of talked about right guard. Then they brought in, this again, a couple weeks ago, signing Sadiq Charles, primarily a guard, but also experienced at tackle. And again, another thing about Sadiq Charles is that he's been out of football for personal reasons, but now he's returning for the NFL. The Cowboys became a physical, liked him enough, brought him in. Another offensive lineman leading up to the draft. And then 2 weeks ago, the Cowboys signed Hakeem Adeniji. I can't even say his name there. Adeniji, I'm sorry. And Adeniji, he played with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns for the last couple of years. A versatile offensive lineman, experience at both guard and tackle. Are you guys seeing a kind of theme here? A lot of offensive linemen a lot of guards and tackles. Like a lot of guys who could play guard and tackle.
Yeah, I think after this offensive line performance and Zack Martin retiring, like everyone in the Cowboys draft room is basically just like clenching their cheeks and said, "Never again." I don't know what to say.
We go and grab 2 of our own. 3 of our own,
I
right?
said draft room. I meant to say front office.
Yeah, front office. You keep Shepley backup, the practice squad guy. You keep Brock Hoffman practice squad. He's a backup. He's not a starter. Let's be honest. You bring in Robert Jones from the Dolphins, who's a veteran. You got another veteran in Sadiq Charles, who's been out of football for a year. Who knows? And then Hakeem Adeniji, who I don't know if I said his name. Yeah. And the point is that he was a 6th round pick of the Bengals in 2020. So he's been around a little bit as well.
What?
And he's played in 43 career games, but he only started 15 of them. So, again, a guy who is not, I would say he's less experienced than Sadiq Charles. I'd say he's less experienced than Robert Jones. If I was going to put these 3 guys on a list, I'd say, you got Robert Jones, Sadiq Charles, and Hakeem Adeniji, who to me, those are the 3 new guys we brought in, and none of them are starters, especially when you take away Zack Martin.
Yeah.
And you still have Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass sitting there. So you got 5 guys for that missing right guard spot. Let's just be honest. And those are the only moves the Cowboys did. Guys, again, I want to make sure you guys understand this. The Cowboys literally went after, in the last 5 weeks, 2 offensive linemen for depth that play guard and tackle. Versatile. That's the moves the Cowboys did in free agency. Outside of this, we talked about 5 weeks ago right here in My Cowboys Family. We talked about every single one of these players. So, now that we're on the same page, then today comes the draft, right? And as the draft came in, I know we had the Houston try to trade. I think you were going to talk about that. But
we already touched on that.
During that stuff was going on, while there was trades maybe going on for the Cowboys in the background, do we have the schedule release date? Now, between now and the schedule release date, which is going to be on Wednesday, May 14th, guys, every game will be announced. So we are 3 weeks away from the magical day of knowing which games the Cowboys are going to play home and away and when we're going to play them. And for those that are going to go and spend your hard-earned money on the Cowboys, which we're not, because the Cowboys have been fucking us for years. So we're going to say, we're always repping that star, but we got gear
for years.
For motherfucking years, baby. You know it. So we can't wait for this. I always love the schedule release and the way everything breaks down and the way we kind of plan our
They didn't jerk us around this year.
Yeah, they didn't just kind of keep switching it up or kind of keeping it under wraps.
So day you're telling us, and that's it.
So Wednesday, May 14th, guys, about 3 weeks from now, we're going to have the schedule officially released for all our, the entire Cowboy season of 2025. And we already know our teams. We're not going to go into that. Now, I just want to say one last thing before we talk about today's draft pick. Mm-hmm. When you look about tomorrow's draft, rounds 2 and 3, and we can talk about the players that are still available, like Trayvon Henderson at running back, or a multitude of receivers that are still out there. I don't really want, you guys are going to talk about the names. I want to talk about what we have right now for sure. We didn't break this thing down the way we usually do. We are now kind of getting the after effect of it. So let me just say this, just so you guys know, for tomorrow, the Dallas Cowboys will have there's a lot of former and active players that are scheduled to announce their team's picks. Usually it happens on Friday for the rounds 2 and 3 of the draft. The Cowboys do have one special announcer. We had Drew Pearson, remember, a couple years ago. Now we're going to have former Cowboy Travis Frederick. Of course, we all know the beard. So again, he will be announcing the Cowboys. Let me see here. Second round pick. I'm sorry. He was a second round pick for the Cowboys in 2013, but he will be announcing the Cowboys, I think, second and third round picks of this draft. So when you watch the draft tomorrow, it'll be Travis Frederick with the beard announcing our guys. Now remember, guys, he's lost a lot of weight. That's healthy weight. Yeah. And he's got, he's cut the beard. I don't know if you even know who he looks like. He might not even look like Travis Frederick tomorrow.
He doesn't look like the Travis Frederick that we've kind of come to know and love through our football years.
Yeah, but he'll be doing both second and third round, it sounds like, announcements of our Cowboy picks. And we do, as you can see at the bottom there, you can see I have my little ticker. You can see a lot of 7 rounders in there. But again, as you can tell, we also have one second rounder at 44, and we have one third rounder, which I think is the same. I think a little later than we had last year, that third round. Well, at least it was in between, but we had 2 third rounders last year, if you guys recall. So, when you look at our current situation when it comes to the draft, round 2 is pick 44, which is going to come fast and furious tomorrow early on the Friday show of the draft, and round 3 we're going to be pick 76. So we got to basically wait 32 more picks. The whole NFL's got to go again before we go in round 3, and then there's no round 4. We only have a round 5. I think we got a regular round 5 pick. I'm sorry, and then we have a round 5 comp pick. We have 2 round 6 picks, which are both trade downs or comp picks, and then we have 3 7th round picks. Crazy, right? A lot of picks for the Cowboys. And a lot of later picks.
It makes sense why, like you kind of mentioned with the whole Houston thing, like they were trying to get picks for right now, but it sounds like they were trying to get a few more higher value picks for right now, considering we have that weird little gap without that 4th rounder. So
great points. And much love to the great Cat 52.
Dominating it tonight.
Yeah, get that 5 on it. And how many away from the
We're only 1 away from him for the night, so
that's awesome.
Put out there.
And Cabs, I mean, if you look at it this way, Cat 52 is like locked down like 4 or 5 of these. So
he has.
One more and they're locked in. We can do another one, but if people want to try to get in for a second one, but he's locked in for the first one. So big shout outs to Mr. Cat 52.
So, and throwing it back to, that day 2 draft talk, he said, we just had a running back go 1K with a beat-up mid-O-line. So I'd like to grab a big body possession wide receiver that can dominate in the red zone when we struggled for our 2nd pick. So, by the way, still almost read that as big booty. Again, just throwing it out there. The big booty dominates. Hopefully that means good things for the dominating.
We got big booties blocking for our whoever
again, I guess.
Or whoever running back is running behind some big booties. Hopefully that's a good thing there.
That's it. Hey, yeah, I guess I did not check out Tyler Booker's cheeks, but I guess we will see. So,
okay, Cat 52 with another 5 on it and put us over the top. Bam! Just like that. We hit the goal. I'll try to set up another one for anybody else. If we do have another goal hit, those names will be thrown into it as well. But
say I got the last one.
Hell yeah, much love.
Thank you so much, Cap 52.
To the one and only Cap 52. Thank you, brother, and appreciate it. Because now the rest of this show is going to be basically me just talking about our pick. I mean, I know you have some things as well to
just
discuss.
Because obviously,
Well, I mean, it's about quotes and stuff from the player, or.
But before we get into a little bit of that, because I know you're going to get into, I think,
the
more detailed.
Yes. Hit me with it.
We've kind of talked about it all night. I'm just going to kind of recap it very quickly. But like I said, it's not the pick that I think I personally would have wanted, and it seems like most of us would have preferred a skilled player. But I kind of mentioned this before, like the O-line does help the entire offense, so I'm not that mad.
Now, I just want to make an announcement so we know who it is.
Yes.
Tyler Booker from Alabama, round 1, pick number 12 overall by the Dallas Cowboys. And again, in case you needed some basics on him, Tyler Booker, guard, not a tackle guard, not a tackle moonlights. He's a guard. He's inside next to the center, inside of the tackle. That's the way it's going to be. He's 6'4", 6'5". I always put him at 6'5". He's over 6'4".
Yeah.
So he's 6'5", 321 pounds. Alabama. He's a junior, by the way. He played in 12 games in 2022, his rookie year. 12 games with 1 start at left guard. He was a freshman All SEC in 2023, second year. He started his sophomore year. He started 12 games at left guard. Second team All SEC. And last year, he started all 13 games with 12 at left guard and 1 at left tackle. Second team Associated Press All-American. First team All SEC. I mean, again, first team All-American 2004 is 2-time first team All SEC. And he also declined offers from Florida, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, other big schools to go and play at Bama. He is a Cowboy. You see him holding the number 1 there for the first round pick, but he is officially going to wear number 52 for the Dallas Cowboys. So if you got a 52 jersey somewhere, there you go. You got Booker on your back. So I just want to throw that out there, guy. Of course, he wore it you see it in our picture. He wore it at Alabama, but number 52, he's keeping that number as he enters the NFL. So that's just the real basics of the draft pick. I have a lot more information, kind of overview the good and the bad. But that's not me now. It's baby. So hit me with your info.
Mamas don't let your babies grow up to be Tyler's?
Another Tyler.
Yes, I know we all kind of noticed it, but there is obviously a trend when it comes to our offensive line. Let's see if you pick it up. Our right tackle, Terrence Steele. Our right guard, Tyler Booker. Our center, Cooper Beebe. Our left guard, Tyler Smith. And our left tackle, Tyler Guyton. I mean, guys, it's
T's all over and Tyler's
it genuinely
galore.
feels like, hey,
What the hell?
You can only make names out of these letters. Make it work.
It's like here. It's like Will McClay. You're telling him, Will McClay, here's what we need you to do. We need you to go grab a lot of T's, and they gotta sound like Eiler.
Either that, or in my head,
What's going on?
Jerry Jones went to a psychic. Okay, and that psychic held his hand and said, "I see a Tyler in your no, I see multiple Tylers in your future." I don't know. Maybe McClay is the one who went. Who knows? So outside of that, I already talked about the Houston thing. I don't give a shit anymore. So I wanted to talk about for 1 second how we got, I don't want to say bamboozled by this guard pick, but more what is it that made the Cowboys lean towards O-line outside of the Zack Martin shit and all that other stuff. So apparently the Cowboys were waffling back and forth, but one of the consistent things they have been saying for a few months, according to Jane Slater, is that, O-line is a problem. They felt that even if they brought in like a very high value running back, that with the O-line we had, they wouldn't be able to run behind it. So the other thing, which didn't have surprised me as much, makes sense in a way. With Zack Martin leaving, we don't have any more real leaders in that room. And it's not to say that some of these guys aren't leaders or anything like that, just that the Cowboys felt like, and Schottenheimer apparently felt like there was a hole in the leadership.
Well, remember,
and one thing we have heard and has been said frequently about Tyler Booker, from his teammates to like coaches down to the man that he's working with, the big Duke 50. That's that
Duke Manyweather.
There, I almost said Mayweather.
Duke Manyweather is again works with the doesn't work for the Cowboys. He got pissed on one of my accounts when I said, "Oh, you're going to work with," and he's like blocked because he cannot have association with a team. He has to be non-biased. But we know he works with 90% of the Cowboy offensive line. They're right next to the Cowboys at the Star. That's where he works out of.
Yeah.
So he's a big guy to take part in this. And of course, Tyler Booker also.
Yes, he's one of the guys who has been under his wing, and he kind of backed up what teammates of his have been saying, that his leadership is apparently out of this world. He said that he's a leader who holds people accountable. He's a relentless worker. He was interviewed, obviously, after the draft, and one of the comments that kind of caught my attention is that he basically said, he's like, I like to watch the joy of playing football leave people's eyes when I'm playing them.
The reference in that, just so people understand,
of course,
that means that as he's blocking you and blocking you and blocking you, every play you start to lose that love to pass rush and to play football, and that's what he's talking about. But I'm going to say something. Mm-hmm. He can say all he wants, and listen, he's a Cowboy. I want to see the best of him. I heard Mozzie Smith say that too. I heard Mozzie say that shit too.
But
I'm just saying.
But I got two quotes directly from Tyler Booker. The only things that I felt like were important to make sure to hear. So for those people who are not as happy about this, he says this to his critics. I would say turn on the tape. For 3 years at Alabama, I just straight up dominated. I was a dude at the University of Alabama. I was that guy in SEC for 3 years straight. Right. Shout out to you guys in the chat, Azteca Aguilar 04 and Madman, who did a little back and forth and said, hey, didn't he only get allow one sack this past year?
Madman, I want to get to it.
No. 0.
Right. 0 seconds.
Tyler Booker also said this as far as replacing Zack Martin, which obviously that's a big part of this discussion. He said, I'm super excited to come in and be a Cowboy. I watched Zack Martin a lot growing up. He's a Hall of Fame player. But I think I would be doing me and our organization a disservice about going there and trying to be Zack Martin. I'm going to be Tyler Booker every single day that I'm in there.
Our guards are Tyler Booker and Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
We're going to have, of course, I'm sorry, Tyler Guyton is now going to be our left tackle. So that's 3 Tylers, Cooper Beebe in the middle. And, of course, Terrence Steele is a right tackle. Now, look, it's not a horrible line, far from it. But we got to see some growth from Tyler Guyton. We got to see what Booker's going to bring to the table. We got to hope Cooper Beebe can continue his upward swing on what he's doing. We know Tyler Smith's our dominator. And honestly, Terrence Steele worries me a lot and always has and always will.
Question for you.
But we don't have a leader on this team. The leader is Tyler Smith, in my opinion, even over Terrence Steele.
It sounds like Tyler Booker. Man, this is going to be tough. It sounds like Booker is the Cowboys want him to be the guy who takes that torch.
But I
have a question for you though, because again, we're hearing it. He's got the right attitude, right?
Great.
He's got the right mentality.
Awesome.
He's got a lot of all these other things.
Fantastic.
But the one thing that I have seen a few people kind of mention is, he's maybe not as athletic as you would want him to be. That he needs to be coached properly.
We will look. We have enough. We have a good coaching group, and many weather help him out. And I'm not worried about developing him.
Okay.
But we'll get to the athletic stuff in a minute. That's one of the negatives. But I just want to say something when it comes to this situation. Just I'm not even looking at the stats or how good or bad he is or the good and pros and cons. What about this factor? Think about this. You want this guy to be your leader. Yeah. I know we're talking about in the near future or so, not now. But we don't have any leaders now. And he's going to be our leader. And he has the leadership skills already. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense to make a rookie your leader. That's where, if you're drafting a guy at 12 because he's a good leader, that's great. But I mean, he's got to be dominant to a point where he's going to be the best on the offensive line. Yeah, it's got to be like Tyron Smith, Zack Martin. It's got to be that kind of greatness. When you got to see it immediately, when you see that shit hit, and it doesn't have to be like the first day one. I mean, that first year, they're going to be there. When you see that, then he'll be a leader next year. But he ain't a leader now. And if we don't have a leader now, then what are we're drafting guys based on leadership qualities, which is important. It baffles me a little bit, and that's why I do have a little bit of an issue with this. It's not about the player as much as it is.
It's a young line. As Zack Aguilar said, we're going to have to start calling him Booker T. James, I think, agrees a little more with you because he's saying, no way. I am not a fan of Bama's offensive line, period.
A lot of people have said that they stick on, again, we know the Michigan situation. We hate Michigan players pretty much for the Cowboys. But the Alabama thing is that the mid-first round offensive linemen from Alabama, they draft early, yeah, or you can develop them later. But if you get those mid-tier, late-pick Alabama offensive linemen, they usually don't pan out. That's a very big generalization, but it's kind of like the Michigan thing sometimes, or the Boise State thing before that.
When it comes to the O-line, I do tend to give our front office more of the benefit of the doubt. I'm more on a wait and see approach. Like I said, he's got a lot of very positive things. He's got a few kind of questionable things.
Let's go over it real quick. And I know you guys are also talking in the chat, have some thoughts in there, and we'll try to hit them up. If you guys want to get your thoughts noticed, of course, there's always a super chat. You can drop the love. I guess there's different ways that you can see. It'll probably drop them there. Maybe if you can drop that.
Yeah, I got it.
But when you look at the landscape of college football, it's rare to see someone like Tyler Booker and his just natural talent. And it's not just like the natural talent any player can have, or a receiver or a cornerback. It's more about the interior, not just exterior, not the outside, the interior type of offensive line player he is. It's rare to see this kind of combination of what he has. Most of the time, teams lack the left and right tackle talent so much that they'll push that guard out to play tackle.
Okay. Basically trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
What we usually fucking do, you know what I mean? But with Alabama, when he was with Alabama, they had Caden Proctor. He was the guy who was lined up basically on the outside of tackle there for them. When Booker was able to go back to that guard and play his true position, he played tackle a lot. Like I went through his list there about how much tackle he played, but he also played a lot of left guard because he had a good tackle started at all. There was never a fear of him having to get pushed to the outside because they had some really good players at tackle for him. So again, he was able to play his true position throughout his time in Tuscaloosa. He was named a consensus All-American one time, an All-SEC 2 times. And it's not just like 2 games or 3 games or half a season. 1,700 snaps. 1,700 snaps plus. Guard over the 3 years he had, when he played college football. Again, he is a junior. Now, I do want to compare him. There's a comparable player. A recent comparable player that we actually wanted to draft in the second round, and we skipped over him for spoon fucking makers. Mm-hmm. And that's Osiris Torrance. I think it was him. Not sure. But my point is, I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago. Osiris Torrance, who became basically a full-time starter for the Bills, that's who his comparison is kind of to, which is a good, solid guard, a starting guard that's going to be there at all your games starting for you. But again, Osiris Torrance was a second rounder. He was not the 12th overall pick. He was the 45th overall pick, Osiris Torrance, or the 60th pick. I don't know. So I don't know. My thing is, it's just a pick that I know what the Cowboys want to do with it, but they want to make him a Zack Martin, and he will be a very good offensive lineman, I believe. Just like Tyler Guyton, who's taking a little longer, and Cooper Beebe, and these guys will be serviceable, very good. Of course, Tyler Smith is the leader.
I know there's no like O-line equivalent to the number 88 or whatever. But they are basically trying to anoint him as the Zack Martin 2.0.
Well, yeah, he is a 12th overall pick, solid guard, and you just had Zack Martin retire. I mean, we know what the Cowboys are doing.
It doesn't take a genius to put 2 and 2 together.
So again, 6'5", 321 pounds. How do you do with the athletic testing? 40-yard dash. He ran a 40-yard dash in 5.38 seconds. Very, very bad. 10-yard split, 1.96 seconds. Vertical jump, only 27 inches. Broad jump, only 6 feet 10 inches. The short shuttle, 7.96 seconds. 3 cone drill, 4.84 seconds. And he only benched 21 reps to bench press. So just nothing spectacular about his athletic ability, which is scary when you enter the NFL, although you're in your child body in a way still. When in his second year, if he doesn't get injured, knock on wood, and he can be solid this year, kind of sturdy and start every game for us, he will be. I think if he does that this year, he's just a little above average. Next year he'll be a monster. Next year, in my opinion.
I'm gonna be real. It sounds like his mind is his greatest weapon, because if physically he's not really anything to write home about, what is it that differentiates him and makes him so much better? It sounds like the way, just saying, it sounds like he's maybe a more intelligent player, or at least a more, like you said, like a more skilled player when it comes to a few more of those little like finesse things.
Maybe the details as well. Here, look, they had him at 6'4", not 6'5", and weighing not 321 but 326.
Okay.
At his pro day. So that's maybe a little more updated numbers than the combine numbers.
Okay.
So 6'4" plus 326, a little bigger, which is good in my mind. But his size and his base alone makes it very challenging for opposing pass rushers and run stoppers. We're talking about pass rush and run block.
Yeah.
Here, pass rushing, run rushing, whatever you want to call it.
Feels very Philly coded.
Again, he's a guy that is very challenging to beat when it comes to pass rush and run stopping ability if you're the defensive tackle or linebacker. So, again, very hard to get around him. Of course, from the Crimson Tide Alabama program, he's very adept at protecting top-tier quarterback talent throughout his career. In Alabama, they always have that. Mm-hmm. He joins a Cowboy offensive line that, as we know, we have to say it and show it again, Zack Martin, the great one, number 70, future Hall of Famer. He's gone, retired, bye-bye. But now we see the instant starter is Tyler Booker, without question. He has to be the starter. Like Tyler Guyton last year and Tyron Smith left. What do? We drafted a tackle and threw him in there at left tackle. It was Tyler Smith, great pick up there at left guard. Yeah. But Tyler Guyton, leaves a lot to be wanted. And this pick, will it be, which side will it go on this? There's still time for Tyler Guyton to get better, but will Tyler Booker be more like Guyton or be more like Smith? Which Tyler will it be like?
As of now, Schottenheimer said in a post-draft interview that no, they don't have plans on moving anyone around. Obviously, just like with everything else, subject to change in the future, but it sounds like as of now, the plan is to have everybody stay put where they're at and maybe adjust in the future.
Booker's going to be that Zack Martin. Exactly. He automatically is our starter. So again, you wonder who's our starter at right guard? It's Tyler Booker, even though most of the time he played left guard. Yeah. And we'll say that. So again, instantly is the successor at right guard, combining in between the promising young center in his second year, Cooper Beebe, who was one of the best centers last year. And again, rated the best guard of last year's draft. He was able to play center for us and was one of the best centers last year as well. So Cooper Beebe to his left, and again, a former one-time, I guess, undrafted guy in Terrence Steele, who's really come out of his, almost became a Hall of Famer. I mean, a Pro Bowler, I dare say a Pro Bowler one year, but just never really has. He got
It's
an
like that
injury.
Pepperidge Farm meme of the guy with the dollar bill on the fishing hook. He's like, "Oh, you almost had it."
It just seems like he got the deal after the torn ACL and never was the same still. So look, but on the other side, next to Cooper Beebe is Tyler Smith, which is again to me our best player without question. Former first round pick Tyler Smith. So I'm just gonna say Cooper Beebe's gonna have a lot of help inside. Although he lost that Zack Martin to his right, he's gonna get Tyler Booker to help him out there on the left. But here's the thing about Booker. Let's talk about some of the good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
Booker has power. His reps were horrible doing reps on the bench press, but he has power. It's undeniable. And his hands hit you with a force that you kind of see when you look at Tyron Smith video.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at film of Tyron Smith, you see that punch. You see that smack. The hand abilities and the power in the hands is where he controls the defensive player. That's how he helps control it. So he has power. He has those strikes. It really gives defensive players nightmares when you see that.
Yeah, like those things you're reading there somehow don't necessarily conflate to some of the like draft stuff that you talked about when it comes to like pro day and the other stuff.
Well, but again, you don't really measure the athleticism with the punch of your hand or the way you control a guy with strikes. That's not athleticism. That's technique. That's the stuff that almost
thank you
comes
for that, because in
naturally.
my head I kind of chalked that under athleticism a bit.
No, not hand movement. No, hand movement. It's not. Athleticism is based on the combine.
Yeah.
So you got speed, and you really need an offensive lineman to go fucking 4.5. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that. That's stupid for offensive lineman. There's no real need. Now a pulling guard, he's gonna pull. You're gonna need that speed coming around the corner. So that's what he's gonna be lacking. I'll get to it in a minute. But my point is that his power is undeniable, and here's the great thing about him. Something we say, Tyler Smith's better at pass blocking, and this guy's better at run block. He's a mauler. Well, the one thing about Booker that we know for sure is that he's as strong in the pass protection side as he is opening running lanes for running backs.
Okay.
He's pretty much even in both. He's great at pass protection. He's great at run blocking. At least even in those kind of tech. He's very good in both categories.
Well,
so,
I like that.
Again, those abilities, not the athletic ability, but those abilities to
technique, finesse,
the natural build he has, all those things, and the way he uses his skill set, it already is going to help him entering the NFL just naturally. The development is the important part to make him great. Be good. Will he be great? That's up to the Cowboys and developing him.
You can increase your power and athleticism in certain ways, but it feels like technique and finesse is harder to nail down.
Tyler Guyton, he might have had some power. He might have had a lot of these things that maybe, a lot of the athletic stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't see him with the same kind of natural power and ability that you see from Tyler Booker compared to Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton seems soft compared to Tyler Booker. That's the best way of me saying it.
That's kind of why I said that it feels like mentally he's like very strong. You know what I mean? Because it is something about like the way that he carries himself.
Another thing comes off. I do want to say another thing though. Guards, I will admit this too though. Tackles.
Yeah.
They usually got to be much more athletic than a guard.
Okay.
Just because of the movement being on the island out there. But pulling guards, which are all of them, you're going to be pulling sometimes. You got to be kind of athletic too sometimes on that too. And Zack Martin was great at being athletic and being a dominator. So he's got a lot of these same things, but you don't have the athleticism like you'd want to see from a 12th pick in the draft, overall pick in the draft, in my opinion. But anyways, again, very good and strong in the pass protection and in the run blocking side of things. So to me, that's a plus and a positive. Although, again, like I said, the biggest negative, you said it yourself, not that athletic. I already read off his combine shit. But he is, the good thing is, and like I've been saying, exceptional when it comes to technique. That is the important thing with him. Which
obviously makes up for that in a big way.
And again, that means you don't have to develop those parts of his game. You can concentrate on things that you can actually make a difference in on the field and improve him. So to me, most of the work when it comes to technique was done at the collegiate level at left guard, which got to flip it over to the right guard, right? And only of late has he worked at right guard.
Okay.
In his last year, he did a lot, but he was very good in that year again, which is again, you can say is kind of similar. Think about Cooper Beebe, reversed, reverse Cooper Beebe. He was at guard. Reverse. I'll say reverse, but go inverse.
Flip.
But flip inside because you're going. someone who played like on the opposite side, and then going to the other side.
So mirror
it, I guess. But that's for him. But hold on, no, when I'm talking about Cooper Beebe, Beebe played guard, and he got to inverse and flip inside to center. So to me, that's even more difficult because you got to snap the ball now.
Yeah.
At guard to center. And here you're going from tackle to guard. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's going also not just tackle the guard, but tackle to left guard to right guard. Transition is there. And he's been doing it. He's been looking good at every single spot. But still, you need development. You need time to get used to that stuff. It's a little nightmarish to Tyler Guyton in that way because he was also a flip guy.
I do hope Schottenheimer was speaking the truth when he said he didn't plan on moving guys. Not because I don't... Like, I also don't want guys in a position where they're not doing their best or excelling. But with such a young offensive line, I do think it's better off just leaving them where they're at for a little while, even if it's maybe not the best fit, just so that they can fucking get their feet wet.
Well, look, I agree 100%. But with someone like this, a first round pick, a number 12 overall, first rounder, you got to go in there and play immediately.
I know.
There's no. Let's just dip our feet in here and have our. No, you got to get the fuck in there and play.
Yeah,
so
don't dip your toesy woesies in the NFL.
So my thing is that much like BB, you gotta make sure you gotta remember you gotta get a little learning curve in the beginning for him. But I think he like BB will adjust properly. Guyton was the bigger question mark, and I hope this year Guyton will come up a lot better and bigger and more intense, physical than he was last year as a rookie. We'll see. But then we're talking about Booker here. And I do have to say that even without being athletic and all that stuff, even with a guy who's basically transitioning, a premium prospect who's able to do these moves from different to be versatile, we're doing it again, though. Typical Jerry Jones kind of pick here, where we're going to take him his traditional spot and move him to an alternate position when he's with us.
Yeah.
Again, tackles, he played left tackle, left guard, and then he got squozen in at the end of his tenure there of his 1,700 snaps.
Yeah.
He had at the end of his career in college some snaps at right guard, but very little comparatively. So that's the Cowboys doing cowboy things there. I will say this, in 2024, when he did play some right guard in that mix of things, he did not, like you guys said, and we're going to reiterate it, did not allow one sack in 2024 against very good talent. Of course, with a very good team in Alabama. So, again, Cowboys' offensive line is now the law firm of Tyler, and Tyler. At least 3 of them 4, right? And then Cooper Beebe, and you got little Beebe and
I feel like Cooper Beebe feels left out. I hope.
Yeah. I think Beebe and Steele. That's another law firm. We got 2 law firms.
Names. Maybe they're Tyler.
Who knows? But the thing is that we have a lot of Tylers. Booker. Only, he was a junior, but he had 2 of his 3 years at Alabama. He was the starter there on the offensive line, left tackle, right guard. Left tackle, left guard, and right guard. 2-year starter at Alabama, and he's experienced in college. He's NFL ready. That's why he's a first round pick, and he's going to be put into an offensive line that will definitely benefit from his presence, not just physically, in the sense of mauler type and blocking ability and technically and almost NFL ready. But he's also, in my opinion, able to be developed into a bigger and better player, more athletic if needed to be in certain things. The thing, like you said, though, baby, is kind of like the unnamed thing is that leadership ability that you can add that into intangibles. He's got one of those things you can't teach, and that's leadership. But I don't expect to see that from a rookie. Even with a younger team we got going on with Terrence Steele as our oldest offensive starting lineman. And to me, Tyler Smith is the leader of this offensive line. There's no way Booker's going to come in there as a rookie and say, all right, guys, I'm a great leader. Let me get you guys together and let's get this thing going. That ain't happening. So that's for the future, Tyler Booker. You're going to have some bookend guards for sure. When you got Tyler Smith on the left side at guard and Tyler Booker on the right side at guard, in a couple of years, you're gonna have the 2 leaders will be the guards.
Yep.
With Cooper Beebe, just kind of like the guy, the man in the middle, that gets the benefit of working with both these guys. So that future looks great. We hope Tyler Guyton works out left tackle. Gotta get that. That has to work out. And then we're left with Terrence Steele and figuring out that problem in a year or 2 very soon. That's coming. So
just
offensive line,
like the Doug Free of the offensive line, in the sense that
Terrence Steele's good enough, but not that great. Doug Free was better than him, probably. Doug Free is AKA now Terrence Steele out there,
so
right?
throwing everything back to I'm calling it the Renaissance.
The reset. I'm gonna call it a reset because we those are the years when we had Thomas Smith and then we got Zack Martin and we got the Beard, right, and Travis Frederick. So we're doing the same thing now. It just back then we got stuck with Doug Free at the end, and now we got stuck with Terrence Steele.
You heard it here first. Don't let any of these haters or anybody say they thought of it first, because I thought of this now. We're gonna throw the book at them. Booker. Anyway,
Booker.
There you go.
Hey, listen, book them, Dano. Here's the thing, guys. Just finishing up the basic stuff here. All right. This is not a horrible pick. All right. Anybody who put DF is wrong on this. By the way, I would like to know what the what you guys are thinking on this, because now I'm gonna go into the strengths and I'm gonna go into the weaknesses and I'm gonna go into what's left for round 2 and 3 for tomorrow, and then we're done with the show, guys. So make sure you get your last thoughts, your last comments, last drops, questions, whatever you want. John Luna still holding on with 37 points in the stream, boss. Skeptical fans closing in up there, and many other you guys jumping up in the mix. So I try to update the board. Hopefully, you'll see your name up there.
Do you want to know where we're at poll wise, or
yeah, let's go? How many?
Okay, 74 votes so far.
That's a lot.
Everyone's initial grades for the draft. We asked you guys, where are you feeling? A, B, B, C, C, D, or D, F? 41% of you guys said A, B.
Well, I'm surprised about that.
The other 32% said B, C.
There you go.
And then we do have 16% in the CD and 11% in the DF.
So we had 6. So basically, what? 25% went.
Yeah, so about
under average. 75% went above average.
Rounded up the percent, but yeah, 75% think it's an A to C draft.
Yeah, pick. I would say a B pick. Let's say when you add that together, and then the other group think it's like a D.
When you average it out, it's more of a B pick. If you want to let us know what you personally voted in the chat, feel free to.
I'm saying for that percentage, but when you look at the whole thing, it falls more to like a middle B. I would say somewhere in there, maybe. I would
say higher B since we have more votes in the A, B section.
Well, I voted the B, C area.
So did I.
And so
I'm guessing you're more C and I'm more B.
I'm probably lower B right now. You're probably higher B.
Yes.
I'm not even saying I'm C. I'd say I'm B, but I'm like a lower B.
Are you saying you're B and I'm B, so we're BB?
We're BB. Cooper BB. Look, before we even continue, though, I'm sure a couple of people who haven't voted want to hear some of his strengths and weaknesses. Let's go with the strengths. If you need someone moved out of the way, Tyler Booker is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guard, again, that has 32 and 1/2 inch arms, 11-inch hands. That's natural. That's not athleticism, but that's his natural numbers there. So, again, 6'5", 321, the athletic testing side of things, you can throw it out for a minute because he is going to be a plug-and-play guard for the Dallas Cowboys. All right? That's the good side of things. In any franchise, he would have been a plug-and-play guard, by the way. He utilizes a power gap run scheme. So that's his best way of kind of utilizing the best of what he's got. And the Cowboys moving stuff around with Schottenheimer kind of being a little more power run gap kind of situation. I think that's another reason why they wanted to pick Booker. You got to remember one thing about him. Remember, he's not that fast. How do you minimize a guy who's a little slower?
Yeah.
With the power gap running scheme. And what I'm trying to say is this. What happens? Why do I say that? Because in a power gap run scheme, a player like Booker at guard does not have to move too much or play outside like a phone booth situation on a one-on-one. That's where he suffers. So when you put him in there, plug and play, right there in guard, and again, in our power gap run scheme, hopefully that'll be what we're running, and that's what we're going to kind of fall on or lean on more than not. More than like I know we've done the option scheme. I keep forgetting the damn name now. The zone option. But if we go power gap, it's going to maximize Booker's abilities because of his lacking in athletic testing.
Okay.
Now, if we play with a zone run with a zone blocking scheme, he's got to use speed and a little more quickness there, and he will lack a little bit there. But in pass protection, now we're not talking about running, now we're talking about passing. In pass protection, Booker wins with his massive size combined, and you said this too, baby, with high football IQ.
Yeah.
This allows him to detect and dissect twists by the defense and stunts up front as it's happening in game. His reaction time is very good. You can see this in the film. Some NFL players are better athletes than football players, and vice versa. Booker is the latter for sure of this, guys. I mean, he's a better, I would say, better football player than an athlete. But he knows how to get the job done and play in, every play. He gets the most of what he can bring to the table. And that's the good stuff. Elite play strength, which torques defenders out of any running lane. He does have a massive 11-inch hands.
Oh.
I'm saying, no, 34.5-inch arms.
I was going to say, I can see why Jerry drafted him.
Yeah, he's always got those numbers. 11-inch, not 8-inch, 11-inch hands. That's those that know. But yeah, 11-inch hands that are basically, when you watch the film, impossible to escape from. He understands how to win the leverage battle to displace defenders, not just for a second, but for the entire play. So he latches on, big hands, move you around in the run game. It sounds like he's a mauler and also very good high IQ, understands how to read pass blitzes and how to help the pass protection when you see stunts and twists coming at him in real time. That's major processing time for someone like Booker. That's the IQ portion of things. So he's a mental player that can still maul you in the run game. The biggest thing is don't get him out there on the island and don't let him use his speed because he don't have it, his quickness. But he understands how to use his girth, his big size to wall off pursuers naturally. Yeah, that girth, 11-inch hands and that girth. So
Cowboys like him girthy.
Listen, and the weakness is, here we go. I know he's big and girthy, but he has some weaknesses, baby. I'm sorry to tell you. He tested very poorly at the NFL Combine, so he can't last too long. He's very not athletic.
Too comfortable.
Yeah. Does not inflict fear on defensive players with the first contact. He has big hands and he can strike fantastic. But initially, there's really no.
You said big and what?
I'm saying the wife said big and girthy. So you
said it first.
I told you he's 11-inch, and he went, "Oh." I say 11-inch hands, and he's going to use his girth to take out blockers. You're like big and girthy. What's that in your eyes? Anyways, the point is that he doesn't have the endurance. Tested poorly. He does not inflict fear on defensive players at first. As the game goes on and he starts to control you, you see the football leave their eyes. The love of football, right? Foot speed dies off quickly.
Okay.
And it's not good. If he has to, like, you see our guys pull and run down the field, he does not sustain.
Yeah.
Tyler Smith sustains, but Tyler Booker will not sustain down the field. So you don't want him pulling down the field and blocking.
Not to add to this, but it sounds a bit like a flashbang. You know what I mean?
Bang, bang.
Like, in the sense of,
quick and over fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a two-pump chump in a way. So limited lateral agility is going to keep him kind of pigeonholed into a more of a gap power scheme. I know that power in the gap. But no, it's not going to be that zone running kind of scheme. That will actually hurt him. So for the Cowboys who've done a lot of zone running, I know going to do some changes with Schottenheimer. The hope is we're going to a gap power scheme in the running game, which will, again, help him not show his weakness of that limited lateral agility and quickness. He also tends to let rushers into his body instead of fighting to keep his chest clean, keep him off his chest. Once they got him on his chest, he's going to be able to be moved a little bit. When you keep him off your chest, you have more control on them. Just don't grab. But again, 11-inch hands, he should be able to keep them off his chest better. He does not do a good job at this. Footwork, again, like I said, slow, but also spotty. So if there's anything that they can teach him, technically speaking, footwork would be something we want to see. It's funny, a lot of our offensive line we draft always about the footwork. Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton. Now we got Tyler Booker. So footwork is spotty and slow. That's the general rule on him right now. Relies mainly on his strength and his size and girth and build. So you're relying on that to make the plays, not really the speed or the agility. Which, again, when he relies on only his strength and build, he also allows his technique naturally will slip.
Yeah.
So that the great technique he has will start to show weakness if he starts to get tired during a game. And again, using only power, using only strength and his size, he's gonna end up losing some battles as the game goes on. And a lot of times he starts to lumber out of his stance. So that's that endurance factor. If it's in the third or fourth quarter and he's lumbering out of his stance, he's going to get beat. He's going to lose the matchups at the ball there. So he also has a habit of getting tripped up when run blocking. That's probably because of his bad footwork and slow feet. So again, we're seeing a trend here. Athleticism, mainly in the lower half of his body. Other than keeping his chest clean, that he's pretty much good everywhere else. IQ is great, but it's about the the lower part of his body. He needs to have better footwork and a little more quickness in there. All right?
Honestly, most of the stuff there though sounds
Fixable.
very coachable when it comes to NFL terms. You know what I mean? Not saying it's not going to take some adjusting or getting used to or whatever the heck, but the finesse and technique and the football IQ, that's the stuff that usually takes years and years to like really hone in and develop. The fact that he's already this far along now, he could easily, if the stars align and things go well, end up in conversations the same way that we talk about Zach Martin and Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and all of them.
No, and listen,
Just
being
saying, like,
drafted where he was drafted, it's almost like I expect. I can see that happen.
He fucking better.
Yeah.
The nice way of putting it. But yeah, he better reach some of those expectations.
And I can see him definitely reaching some of them with the young offensive lineman we got. The coaching, we focus on offensive line. So yes, he has an upper. It's like going to the best. Offensive. It's like going to Penn State for linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Or you're coming to Dallas for offensive line. That's the best situation you can want to be in. I think so. That's generally the situation, the good and the bad. Most of the bad relies on his footwork, his athleticism, but I want to go from athleticism because again, some of the testing, one of the best when it comes to his overall form, his hand size. I'm just saying that stuff is measured as a foreign offensive lineman. His technique, these are things that are not measurable when it comes to athletics testing. But when it comes to actual on the football field player, he's better than all those athletic testing, masters out there that maybe are great in athletics, like Tyler Guyton. I mean, as a football player, has a lot of lacking still, and that stuff may not be taught sometimes. So, what I'm trying to say is Tyler Booker in there. I think that the coaches have to just get on his footwork, get that footwork going, get him moving a little quicker. Hopefully, we have that power run gap kind of scheme favoring his abilities in the sense of keep him on just as a mauler, a massive guy out there. Do not leave him on an edge by himself where he has to use quickness. It's going to be tough to pull him a lot of the times or sustain a long blocking kind of down the field when he pulls to the right or left. So we got to keep that in mind. But when he's in there blocking normal, they're running up his ass. He's going to fucking push guys 5 yards back. When he's blocking, it's going to be tough to get around him. He didn't allow any sacks last year at left tackle, left guard, and right guard. So he can play multiple positions, which we Cowboys love him for that. And the Cowboys are going to put him away from his natural position in the right guard spot to replace Zach Martin. Yes, Zach Martin. Let's hope this works out because, again, he said himself, huge shoes to fill. But it's even bigger when you got to move around from other positions he was more used to into this. So
now with that said, guys, we are getting very close to the end of the stream. So I do want to take a second here to interrupt Mr. MCF because I haven't done this all night. You guys got to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And of course, hop into the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below. I appreciate every single person who took the time out of their day, their night, whatever time zone you're in, to come and chill, hang with us. Appreciate everyone. Of course, shout out to the sponsor of the week, Mr. John Luna.
Yeah.
Not just there, but he's rocking it as a stream boss with 37 points. Yeah. Shout out to him.
Oh, the king. He's also the man, the champion of the membership gifting side of things. So big shout outs to him right now. Skeptical fan.
Always saying skeptical.
He is currently in first place as the gifting leader on this streak right now, this last month and a little over a month. And he is currently, Skeptical Fan is currently the one, the only, you guessed it, the Cash App King, the king of the Cash App, and also with a $2 and change, the leader, I think in change, the leader of the Cash App currently right now. So shout out to the man, Skeptical Fan, who's leading in 2 spots on the board right now. And second place on the overall with John Luna right in front of him, but not far behind Skeptical Fan is Aussie and Cab52 made a huge run up the board tonight. Shout out Sarah and Calvin Richard too. Shout out Sarah, but I see we got the man Marco Sippin back in the mix. Appreciate him. It's been a while. I really wanted to know a little bit more from him, but I understand. I know he's a little busy. As we kind of wrap this show up, and again we're going to be back here tomorrow again for our second and third round picks. But as we get to that, I do want to say, a lot of people, like myself, I was looking at at wide receivers that were I was kind of favoring wide receiver because we don't have, a backup, a number two. I don't say backup, but a number two receiver. Now we know that Golden. Didn't he get taken by
Green
Packers,
Bay.
right? So the Packers got Golden, and he was the guy I was kind of hoping the Cowboys would kind of maybe go at. At this point, honestly, though, I didn't really. I just wanted to see what was going to happen and give you our thoughts after the draft. But yes, Golden was going to be Golden he's going to be us. He's going to be there. No, there, Cowboys.
The golden basket.
Cowboys passed him up. He went, and we already heard all the possibilities of why they did that. But then he went to the Packers, and they're getting their offense better. So that leads me to day two. You see it down there at the bottom. Day two, which is rounds 2 and 3. Here are some names at wide receiver. And just to reiterate, guys, wide receiver is stacked. Stacked. Jaden Higgins. Oh, before I say that, let me say Marco Sepien, who's not a receiver on the board, but he is one of the people ripping it up here in MCF with his drop. There's 5 on it. And his thoughts there. What's his bottom line thoughts? I see it. Much love to the man, Marco Sepien, taking John Luna down to 32 points.
Yes. Hello again, Marco Sepien. He said, bottom line is, this guy's a solid player, but not worthy of a top 12 pick.
Boom.
Hopefully we nab a running back. I don't see any receivers left that really scare anyone.
And again, this is in no order when I'm going to say this, Marco Sepien, but I'm going to say some receiver and running back names that are left. Mm-hmm. And I do agree. Actually, I'm going to start with running backs, mainly because of the guy you discussed, Trayvon Henderson from Ohio State. They have Quinshon Judkins, who's also Ohio State, and he's rated as the number 2 guy. So it's kind of that tandem. I think they had 3 guys, if I'm not mistaken, but they have a 1-2 punch there in Ohio State. Trayvon Henderson is the one that's getting the big hype right now. So the Cowboys, if they can get him at 44, they probably will. We'll see what happens.
That was a name I saw a few times in the chat tonight.
A lot of people looking at Trayvon Henderson. So again, guys, Trayvon Henderson tomorrow, pick 44. Can he drop? Can we get 8 picks, 12 picks in and get Trayvon Henderson? We will see. We shall see. But he's the top listed running back. After him, I have here Quinshon Judkins, also from Ohio State. Caleb Johnson from Iowa. Cam Gadabo from Arizona State. All these guys are known guys that can play. Now, you get these guys in the 3rd round, some of them. Maybe in the 4th round. We don't have a 4th round pick, though. We have a bunch. We have a couple in the 5th at the end. A bunch in the 6th, a shitload in the 7th. We're talking about these guys. You go Tennessee, Dylan Sampson, another good running back. But if we wait past the 3rd round, who we have, I mean, that's it. These guys will not be there. You got Devin Neal from Kansas, DJ Giddens from Kansas State, Jordan James from Oregon, RJ Harvey from UCF. Let's go Knights. And I heard that he actually visited with the Cowboys, by the way. So let's go Cowboys and Golden Knights. And then you got Damian Martinez from Miami, Bayshul Tootin from Virginia Tech, Trevor Etienne's brother from Georgia, and Rashard Smith from SMU. Now, some of these names you can get in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. Those top 5 names I said, that's the 1st and 2nd round. That's tomorrow. So stay tuned. See if 2 of the, again, guys like Trayvon Johnson, Scatabo, Caleb Johnson, Judkins, Sampson. See if these guys go in the 2nd and 3rd round, and if the Cowboys are one of these that take them. If not, these other guys, you get an RJ Harvey in the 5th or 6th round. You know what I mean?
Batman said rather get Judkins.
Okay.
Scott Zilla says Scatabo your target. I think I said Dante Thornton is juniors, the dark horse of receivers in this year's draft.
I'll get the receivers in a minute.
So no, just
all right. Good. Thank you to also someone like Scott Zilla, who's in Arizona. He knows. So that's Scatabo's an Arizona guy. So now you also have the receivers. I think the Cowboys are going to be looking at possibly, again, I do think there's defensive linemen and linebackers the Cowboys may look at. Also at cornerback, depending on the value there. But at receiver, since we talked about someone like Golden, who's now off the board, you do have Jaden Higgins from Iowa State, Trey Harris from Ole Miss, Luther Burden III from Missouri, Jaden Noel from Iowa State, another Iowa State receiver, Jack Beck from TCU, Jaden Royals from Utah State, Kyle Williams from Washington State, Jalen Lane, Virginia Tech, Ty Felton from Maryland, and Torrey Horton from Colorado State. And my thing is in here, I got to say this to my guy, Mr. Marco Sepien, he's 100% right. Nobody here really scary. These are all 3rd rounders, easy. For me, in my mind, they're third rounders or lower. So I don't need to get a third round receiver who's going to be basically another Jalen Tolbert. I need a guy who's going to be a lot better than Jalen Tolbert. So I don't know if receiver is going to be a pick in the second or third round. But I do think running back, if Henderson is there, that's the guy you got to draft. And if he's not there, like you heard Scott Zilla say, Scotabo could be third rounder. That the Cowboys go third round with him. Someone like that could be an option. Again, there's defensive ends, there's defensive tackles, and there's of course linebackers and cornerbacks. The Cowboys can go at any of those other positions. There'll be no quarterback. There'll be no offensive line or tight ends taken in the second or third rounds by the Cowboys. Thank goodness. I would say on the offensive side, it's receiver, running back left. And on the defensive side, it's anything's available, honestly. If there's a really good corner that slipped, we need cornerbacks, guys, because right now we got like Tyre Elam right now. He's our starting him and Bland are the starters because everybody else is done. Jordan Lewis is gone. Forget about Trevon Diggs coming back anytime soon, in my opinion. So cornerback is scary right now for me when you need three good solid ones. Linebackers, we can definitely always improve that. Pass rushers, we got a whole bunch, but that's why the Cowboys got a bunch, I think. So we don't have to rush in the draft to grab one. So, you're looking at defense, are we going to go defense at all tomorrow? I can't believe it's going to be a receiver and running back tomorrow. So I would say tomorrow will be a running back and a defensive player in the third round. That's my hope. We get Trayvon Henderson and get the best. I don't care almost who the fuck it is. I don't care if it's linebacker, edge rusher, tackle, or cornerback. No safeties needed. 4 of those, that's it. One of those 4 guys, the best one, come to the Cowboys. The best fit, come to the Cowboys in the third round. How you guys thinking about this? That's it. Show's over. So, baby, your thoughts on this, and then the chat's thoughts. And we're calling it a night.
I mean, honestly, too many different directions for the Cowboys to go in. I'm just kind of in a wait-and-see approach. The only thing I will say, it sounds like if they have an opportunity to potentially trade down day 2, they might just take it. Because you kind of said it. They're looking for draft capital now in that first round. How does that change day 2? Feel like we're in the same position. So just saying, maybe they trade down. Maybe they do something slightly cuckoo there. We'll have to see. Let me go ahead and hit up the chat here first. But appreciate everybody here chilling, hanging with us. Thank you, Madman. Scott Zill, what?
Yeah, no. I thought there was a couple thoughts, but
I was.
I'm sorry. I know we're going through it. I'm sorry.
Like, I know we're a little rusty there. Give me the chance. Anyway, Scott 52 said I'd take a linebacker, receiver, defensive back.
Yeah, so many other positions we can grab. So many positions.
Like I said, Madman, Scott Zilla, much love. Yeah. I was gonna say Madman said defensive tackle, just wait. Des Watson, he's an undrafted free agent, or he's expected to be.
Oh, and we got Marco Seppian dropping some more thoughts here with that 5 on it.
That's right, coming in.
Oh man! By the way, with that drop, I just want to make sure I'm gonna move up the boards and everything later. He's definitely creeping up the board, but he's got John Luna and the whole crew. You guys got Cat 52 and the rest of you guys got John Luna down at 27 points. Holy shit! He is. He's held on to that for like 3 months. I don't think he's lost the stream boss in over 3 months, John Luna. Wow. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did Mark have to say?
He said, Bass and Hoff were okay. Do you remember when Jerry Jones saying how great they were?
Yes.
And all those receivers are just another Mingo and Tolbert.
Exactly.
That's right. Joke, and we need a wide receiver in free agency.
And I think our receiver is Mingo. That's going to be a number 2. Tolbert number 3.
Depressing, but
that's depressing. I think, and that's why I said this before, Mark, and I'm going to say it again. Keenan Allen, he's a free agent. My thing is, will the Cowboys front office pay him the money? Is he old enough and broken down enough to be paid cheaper money with the Cowboys? That's the only way the Cowboys grab him.
Yeah,
but I think he actually still has quality left in him, but he's going to be an overpriced player. So yeah. Free agency receivers, Keenan Allen's your best bet, I guess. We don't want to overpay. So when it comes to receiver, yeah, I know we got Turpin in the mix, and I know we got, he'd be our 4th, and we got a couple other guys there, some of the Jalen's, Brooks, and they'll be our 5th and 6th or whatever. But we need that number 2. We don't have one. and Mingo is our number 2 right now. So yeah, with the receivers we have there, and Mingo is he gave away a 4th-round pick. Our 4th-round pick would have been our receiver. That's Mingo, who's going to be our receiver next year. So
Madman is saying, watch Kendall Paul. He's an absolute beast at corner. Just to throw that out there.
Who is it? Kendall who?
Kendall Paul.
All right. I'm going to keep an eye out for him because we need cornerbacks in a big way. Much love to the one and only Cav 52 with that 5 on it. He's making John Luna the 22 points, the great Emmitt Smith.
He said he'd like to make it a family affair. He said, I'd take the other Sanders kid in the 6th or 7th round.
Well, Shadur Sanders, did he go to anybody? I'm not sure if he did go. Did not. He did not get drafted.
I don't think he got drafted.
I thought he got drafted, but all right. But the thing is that, yeah, I mean, just for the Jerry Jones clown factor, the Cowboys would take Sanders just to have Deion around and bring in some hype to the fucking to the field, to hype to the training camp, to the OTAs, because you got Deion's gonna be visiting. And look, there's Deion, former Cowboy, and shaking hands with Jerry Jones, because that's and that is the Jerry Jones way. That is the one and only name that we've always said here. That is what that runs this whole circus. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones. It's the one and only motherfucking clown show.
All the Jones.
Fuck the goddamn clown show. Welcome.
And with that said, I'm going to go ahead, like I said, do some final shout-out / comments here in the chat.
I will say this. While you're doing that, we are getting close to another set of names.
That's right.
We're 4 out of 10. We're 6 away from hitting the, I guess you could say, the goal again tonight. And if we do that, that means that all these names you're seeing hitting right now will be in to the raffle to see 4 names get picked out and get thrown into the star and over everything, which right now is 3 people in it. So technically, there'll be more people that'll be in this raffle from these, you can say these goals, than the actual membership over everything and star level. So that shows you where you can get. Anyways, much love to Cav. Another one from Cav 2. What did he say? Another one from Marco Seppian. So we're halfway there. What did both these ballers have to say?
So Prophet 2 said, no, I meant the defensive back, not the QB.
Oh, Shadur. Okay, I'm sorry. Sanders, the defensive back. I'm cool with that as well. I'm sorry I said receiver. I don't care if he plays kicker. If it's Deion Sanders' son, it's going to be a Jerry Jones pick, and you get him for cheap. Look at our picks. We got 2 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th. That's undrafted, basically. To me, might as well use a Sanders pick. If you're Jerry Jones, secure Sanders, and you get Deion visiting the training camp, and that brings up a couple views. That gets Deion Sanders in your training camp, and it gets Jerry Jones eyeballs in the camp, and that's all Jerry Jones really gives a fuck about in the end. So yeah, I'm with you on that. No matter what position he plays, Cab, I got you. By the way, with those 2 drops, we got John Luna to 12, Roger Staubach points. That literally can be done tonight.
That's right.
Holy shit! I just realized John Luna's not on here, so John Luna can't even save himself at this point. He's hanging in the balance here. A Houston Texans fan.
I know.
Repping it for 3 months could lose his spot. Big shout outs to both you guys, Mark, Hopesepian, and Cab. What did Mark have to say? What do you have to add?
And Tolbert as our number 2 and 3.
It hurts. I don't want to say it. It hurts.
Bikini wax the cast of The View before Jerry Jones does the right thing. Unless a stud falls to us in the 3rd. Oh, and there's Forney.
Yeah, that's right. He's another receiver. He's like our 7th receiver. He's practice squad next year. Forney, and Flournoy.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, Flournoy and Jalen Brooks. Those are our guys. Those are our 6th and 7th guys. Got 52 again with that 5 on it. What did he say? Did you?
He said, "Did you?"
I don't. He could play water boy. The Cowboys pick him up because Deion Sanders, and bring in the eyeballs to the fucking field. And yes, I did mean it. Yes, I did.
I'm still kind of surprised that we didn't just draft, John Stephen Jones in some capacity.
Hey, is he out? I mean, again, I know there's listen. What I'm hearing as quarterback for the Cowboys' future, it's not going to be any of these. It's going to be Manning.
Nah.
It's going to be the Manning grandson, the Manning son.
Right?
Yeah, Archie Manning. Well, that's the grandfather, and it's also
he's
the son. Archie Manning may be the Cowboy quarterback here in Dallas. Just letting you know, that could very well be the future situation. It's not going to be a Shadur, obviously a Sanders. But again, getting a cornerback or whoever his brother is, whatever position he plays, getting him in there is going to be, would be a Jerry Jones, straight up Jerry Jones move. And I would almost understand it at this point. Why a sixth or seventh rounder? We got 5 picks in the 6th and 7th round. You might as well waste one of them with a Sanders, get some eyeballs, and hey, you never know. You never know. You get some of that Dion DNA, it might work in the 6th or 7th round. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care what position. Cornerback, let's go. Deion Sanders, bring him in at corner. Let's go. Bring Dion back. Let's go. I think I know what he meant by that. I'm just trying to say, like, they got a receiver. They got a Sanders. Try to what?
Oh, shit. Oh, damn.
What? I missed everything, then.
We just had 2 back-to-back drops. One through Streamlabs.
Does that count?
By the man Cap52.
Oh, yeah.
Huge shout out to him because he just came down with a $10 holler. Or right after, it's because the lunatic right after that dropped a $2 holler and said, "Run the damn ball, Dallas Cowboys for life. Let's fucking go and fuck filthy."
Fuck Philly forever. Philly's one of the reasons why I am in a depression. And I say about the football side of things, it is depressing to have the Eagles win that.
And Cap52 through Streamlabs. I only read that comment second Cap because I had to actually scroll back and to see what it said. He said, "I tried to get 3 in a row, but it didn't let me." The good news is it did let you come in and capture that stream boss. Because the good thing about the Streamlabs drops, they do register. Again, it shows up.
It doesn't count as the goal, but it does count as the Streamlabs, the stream boss. So Cat52 officially has taken over the stream boss the first time, and thankfully a Cowboy fan. First time we have a new name up there since the great John Luna. Let's remember, he's still a great man. And again, check out the information where you want to donate money to his dear friend who passed away. Mm-hmm. But check it out. Shout outs to Cat52 and shout outs to Marco Sepien, who dropped another 5 on it.
Thank you, Cat52. Thank you to Lunatic. Thank you, Marco Sepien.
Yes.
He said,
what
comes first? Jerry Jones doing the right thing and not being an egotistical idiot?
Already take that away.
Or me asking for daily prostate exams?
I'm going to say you asking for daily prostate exams is probably more probable.
Hey, early prevention is key. He said, "Pray a free agent wide receiver is nabbed."
Again, maybe you want to tell? I mean, listen.
I had a little promotion.
She had a promotion. The changes, her big promotion, changed a lot of things on the channel, mainly. And again, listen, we were sick into our stomach from the Eagles. We already were going to take a little break. But then the promotion kind of came, and fantastic that we, as a family, we all can, feel so happy and proud that, we're lucky that we can go this route. But at the same time, the bad part of it is that maybe you're pushing it right now. I know you need sleep and all that, but right now, these are very difficult streams for my wife to handle. We're gonna make the sacrifices during the bigger situations, draft, training camp, of course, game day. We're doing our live streams, and I'm sure we'll have a stream or 2 a week.
Well, once the football season kicks off, you'll definitely be seeing us much more frequently.
Yeah, but it's going to be much less than the usual in the past.
And part of that was just the adjustment period, you could say, as well. So kicking off the new year with the Cowboys sucking and the job situation there,
Yeah, the change, the grade, you can say, the promotion at the job side of things for you, baby. But yeah, I could do this by myself. I do the after dark thing because that's by myself. But this is a thing that my wife and I, the MCW and I, did together, and we're going to keep doing it together. You know what I mean? So that's the way we do it. Hey, yeah, for sure.
And thank you,
man. Hey,
mahalo, Marco Sepien, with the $2 holler, saying condolences to our brother.
Yeah,
congrats on your promotion. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love in the chat.
I do want to say, by the way, we need 3. I just want to make sure everyone knows we need 3 more teal. That's $5 or higher drops in 1 minute and 17 seconds.
I think you're asking for a little too much.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I do want to get to the end of it, at least give everybody a fair chance. And you know what? Even if it goes after, I'll just count it anyways. Even if it doesn't say it.
Finish doing the little shout outs here in the chat.
I did want to say one quick thing to Mr. The Lunatic. I agree. I think that running the ball is, I think you were saying this. I know I've heard the Cowboys saying that running the ball is kind of the philosophy they want to continue doing. in the sense, not running the ball, but building the line.
Yeah.
Who'll be able to run the ball and have that
line to run the ball and protect Dak, because when you run the ball, you protect Dak, but when you protect Dak, you protect Dak.
When you protect Dak, you're protecting $60 million a year as well, which of course you'd want to put more weapons, whether on the field as receiver or blocking for your quarterback when he's the highest paid player in the league, which I don't think he should be, but he is, and that's the way it is. And that's the way the Joneses work their magic. It's disastrous. So, look, in my opinion, I think that when it comes to the Cowboys going forward and the offensive line building mindset, it is good. But I also think that sometimes you can overdo it. And I think the reason why the Cowboys overdid this and maybe are overplaying their offensive line hand is because they don't work hard enough to get actual free agents.
Apparently, Jerry did confirm that that receiver from Arizona, it's Trey, something like that. But the point is, had he been there at 12, the Cowboys have gotten him.
McMillan?
I think so.
Yeah, he was gone at like 6.
Yeah.
He was going to be one of the top guys there. So, yeah, I mean, it was going to be tough to...
T-Mac?
T-Mac. Yeah, well, McMillan probably.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just, he was never going to get there. He was the number 1 receiver,
I know.
I guess. Number 2 receiver, I guess,
just
behind
throwing it out there
Colorado.
That it sounds like that's who Jerry really wanted. Not saying they settled for Booker, just saying that
McMillan said
I guess we weren't wrong about thinking, hey, the Cowboys seem to be feeling receiver.
Yeah, I like Golden better than T-Mac or McMillan, but
it was.
We got neither, so you know.
Captain T2 said it won't let him do the goal. Yeah, I think it kind of just ended it. Not the end of the world, guys, because guess what? We you know.
Well, no, I was going to say that we still can count it. I'm saying even if the goal ran out, we need 3 more. Mm-hmm. So yeah, technically 3 more would hit it. I'm not going to not give it to you guys if you guys drop 3 more teals. You know what I mean, or higher. If you do it, we're in. You know, we'll give you guys the credit. I got it all marked down, so we got it. We're good. But we'll finish taking the last couple of questions before we rock out of here. So you have a couple extra minutes. So hopefully maybe hit the goal. And Cap 52 is at 91 points. You got Mr. The great skeptical fan. He's the Cash App King and the Cash App leader and the leader of the gifting memberships, while you have the man John Luna representing everything else. Yep. Sponsor of the week 6 times in a row. The gifting membership 6 times in a row. Right, and also first place right now, currently, but not by much, because, like I said, a lot of Cab, a lot of Marco Sepien. We had some Calvin Richard, and many others here. So we're tracking this, and we'll see who wins. It probably be probably the end of the draft. We'll probably have to mention the winner. The end of the month, basically, we'll mention we'll have a winner there. You know what I mean? There we go. There's Marco Sepien. Even if it's ended, we're down to 2 away. You know what I mean? So Mark gets a name in the raffle.
So do a few other people.
We got that lunatic who dropped that 5 on it. Also, that's his name, another name, and I think actually he did it 2 earlier. So this would be officially in the raffle, the lunatic. And I see here Long Duck. Long Duck also is in the raffle. There you go. These raffles, remember, these raffles are to get into the big raffle, which is for the membership stuff. So big shout outs to the Lunatic, the Long Duck, and of course, the man Marco Sepien. What do they all say? They hit with
bam.
Yeah, so, they hit it out the ballpark, and let's give them their due time that they deserve.
So first, Mr. Marco Sepien said, I dropped to 24 for next year, number 2. We nabbed a second round talent at 12. This reminds me of the Shante Carker Pittman like move. And the 2 guards that we have are decent. So again, it sounds like the only person that was interested in trading with the Cowboys the way that they wanted was Houston. And they just weren't willing to give up picks for this year. Right. Because that's the big thing. Right. The Cowboys didn't want a number 2 for next year. Right. Like, they wanted something to use.
The thing now. I'll address everybody's comment, even I'll just give a quick sentence because you're hitting him up greatly here, baby. But Marco Sepien, dropping to that 25th spot with Houston, and get a second rounder this year. The Cowboys also wanted a second rounder, a third rounder, I think, this year. The Texans wanted to give a second rounder for next year. So I think that's where the hang-up was. It was what we heard is based off of, quote, future picks. We don't know which way. The Cowboys want more future picks or they want more now picks. I heard it's more now picks. That made the difference. even though we have 10 already. They wanted more now picks in the top 100, in the top 3 rounds, is what the Cowboys were looking for. They only got one, so they wanted more. They wanted more than one. They wanted a second rounder, and then next year's. They wanted a second rounder and a third rounder. They got a second rounder and next year's second rounder, which in a lot of people's minds, Houston's going to be probably a good team, and that draft pick will be around that same. It's not going to be a high second rounder. It's going to be a low second rounder. So that's the mindset I think for the Cowboys and not making that trade to Houston. Outside of that, there was nobody else. There was nobody else I wanted to do a deal with the Cowboys.
So, by the way, long duck.
Long duck.
Actually, Clark Kent. He said this is Clark Kent, guys. Shit. Congratulations on promotion. Miss you guys.
Thank you, bro.
The pick was a good one.
Okay.
Draft Henderson, and I'm happy. Go boys. So there you go.
Henderson running back would make things a lot better.
It seems like Henderson, if I had to go one way, Henderson is definitely the favorite.
For tomorrow, for sure. Yeah. He's the guy everyone wants. He's the guy everybody wants right now.
So, and thank you for being here, Clark Kent. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words there. Now, the man DeLunatic with his $5 holler, he said, we can go wide receiver in the second round or trade back in the second round and then get another pick. We got Gilly for free agency, cornerback in my opinion, and Puro Pinche Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Almost Cowboys for life.
I do have to make a mention about one of those names you just mentioned in there. Stephon Gilmore. He visited the Cowboys. Now, we don't know what this visit was about, but usually before a draft, you have a veteran cornerback come into town and say, hey, I think that the Cowboys were just seeing what he left without a deal. The Cowboys wanted to see what he wanted. Because if the Cowboys cannot get a cornerback in this draft, look for the Cowboys to maybe make a move and sign Gilmore for maybe his asking price.
Yeah.
Because right now it's the money that's holding him back. And, of course, the loss of ability. Because every year cornerbacks get worse and worse and worse.
Obviously, they haven't reached any decision, but it could also just be one of those things where, like, hey, after the draft, we'll call you.
I think exactly
like that's it. Because depending on what happens in the draft, we'll call you. So that's just my thought. And like I said, I'm happy with any of the skills positions offensively. You get me a receiver, you get me a running back, I'll be happy. Hell, even tight end, if you squint at it right, you might be able to talk me into that one, although I don't know about that. And then yes, I kind of said this in one of Cab 52's like earlier comments. Linebacker. We can't ignore it. We can't not do it. I just don't think that we need to do it with our second round pick. But I agree wholeheartedly with DeLunatic there as far as the whole trade back. It didn't work out day one just because I think the stakes are just too high. But day two, this is our bread and butter. This is in the sense of you want to make draft magic happen. This is the future.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
You're right. Go ahead.
These are the things that what, baby?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go then because that was I kind of was a piggyback off what you're saying. To me, I don't agree about bread and butters. Day two is not bread and butter for the Cowboys.
I mean necessarily day two. I'm just talking about the draft in general.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Okay,
in the draft,
I heard you wrong.
Negotiating draft stuff when it comes to trying to get picks and stuff. I might not necessarily like the way that we use our draft picks. But when it comes to actually the negotiation of draft picks and stuff like that, as long as it's not involved in some kind of player trade, it usually works out well for us and usually is a smart move.
Overall drafting wise, I agree. Breaking down the actual draft, first round, if we get an offensive lineman in the first round, you know what happens? Superstar Hall of Famer. So when you look at it like that, if Booker is going to be a Hall of Famer one day or a top lineman, you can't get mad at this pick. It's an A-B pick in that way. But just like this, now we talk about the second round, okay? And entering the second round situation. If the Cowboys, to me, they play around here and they get, they go for, they overreach for a position they don't have to reach for. We don't go for the running back that could be a starting running back for 5-6 years in the second round, like a Trayvon Henderson. To me, that would be a major mistake here. And again, I kind of want to, what Clark Kent said, aka Long Duck, 100% that if we can raise the value of this draft if we get someone like Henderson, especially on the offensive side. Lunatic, even though I know we can go run a receiver round 2, I will say this: I read off some receivers. Receivers are very deep, so we can still kind of get one in the third if we needed to. I would not. I would rather get Trayvon Henderson, running back, than a receiver in the second round at 44 if they're both there. Now, that's why I mentioned the Stephon Gilmore situation. If we don't get a cornerback, Gilmore comes in. To me, that's the better move because he's a solid guy, but he's not a great guy anymore. But you got Bland, you got Gilmore.
You have choices.
Exactly. And again, I think that the Cowboys need to kind of really get realistic when it comes to cornerback. Linebacker, pass rusher. We got a lot of pass rushers. Linebackers, we got a couple. Nothing special. But we're one injury away from having nobody at linebackers. To me, linebacker, cornerback on defense is the main two things we look at here. On offense, receiver, running back. But there's only 2 picks tomorrow. And we don't, and that's what I was going to say. When I break down the Cowboys picks, in the second round, it's Trayvon Diggs and DeMarcus Lawrence in the last decade. It's nothing. For the most part, of course. I know we had a couple still, but for the most part, it's bad picking in the second round. It's big risks that we usually fail with. Jalen Smith risks and things like this. We have one good year of a guy and then nothing. So we got to do something good with this second round because after the second and third round, after tomorrow, we didn't pick to the end of the 5th round. That means wherever we finish with our third pick in the third round, with our third round pick, the next pick is basically a 6th rounder. You can sleep for 3 rounds. So it's a very important 2 picks tomorrow. Very important. And again, tomorrow we'll talk about only those 2 picks and maybe how it mixes with today's pick. But we ain't going to have a long-ass stream like this making up all the time. We got all the info. We're going to do another tomorrow will be a quicker stream, an hour stream tomorrow.
Yeah,
on our 2 players.
Pre-draft catching up to do.
Yeah, no, we already caught you up, right? It's basically a 2-hour stream. So want to make sure we got everybody caught up on everything. I'm so happy to see everybody back here after about a 5-week hiatus. Thank you guys for working with us, and we are trying to work with you guys with our schedules, with the wife's schedule specifically. So we do have to call it a night. Really appreciate every single one of you guys hitting that like button here, hit subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live. Because it used to be every day, but now you don't know when it could be. So you definitely have to hit that notification bell.
Want to make sure to keep up with us in that way.
And huge shout out to those that dropped the love tonight. People that are in the membership, like Justin Quarles, who's back in that silver level.
Cute, man.
We got Cat 52 dropping him to the Streamlabs, to the Cash Apps. Much love.
He took over the stream boss.
Yeah, he's a stream boss, the boss of that stream with 76 points. We got Skeptical Fan who kicked it off. Calvin Richard in the house. Jangly Echoes dropping some love. Long Duck, a.k.a. Clark Kent. We had De Lunatic, the man. De Lunatic, puro pinche Cowboys. Let's go Cowboys. Of course, Queenie, Canadian Cowboy fan. And along with Cat 52, Marco Seppian. Both of them took over the night tonight. So shout outs to both of you guys, Cab, Mark. And great to see both of you guys and everybody back in the mix. We'll try to do as many of these as we can. I see you pick and pop in the house. Meatball Ron, Scottzilla. Let's do the final shout outs. Cassie, before we call it a night here, once and for all.
So we got Madman in the house. Much love. Meatball Ron hanging out here. Scottzilla, take it easy. No, Madman, Scottzilla wandered off in the desert onto the wrong MCF stream, basically.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't think I'm doing
I'm messing with you.
There's no After Dark tonight. If I do, it'd be like an hour or 2. But you might see him you might see me pop up on someone's stream somewhere. Or
Cowboys are the priority.
Let me just finish a little bit of my 9 to 5 and then go to sleep, which is what I should do.
I would say Cassie Stewart, but Cassie's got a new last name there, so this is Cassie Roswell.
Congratulations. Hell yeah.
Tab 52, much love. Always fuck the Eagles. Have a great night. Plastic Aguilar 04 said, I'm ready for the rest of the draft. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey,
Pop, what's up? Much love. Have a great night.
Pop. Hey, running back Trayvon Henderson, and then it's either receiver in the third or a defensive player. I say linebacker or corner. I prefer corner if it's a great one. Left in there, I snuck through. Outside of that, that's party, guys. It's always that star very.
True Cowboy, you also have a great night.
Yes, True Cowboy, De Lunatic, Scottzilla, everybody.
Thanks for not being a crazy Eagle fan there, Meatball Ron. Oh, wait.
He is, unfortunately.
It's all right.
Congrats on your goddamn
love to you. By the way, he said that the midgets went with the QB. We're owning them again.
I know. They went with the quarterback. They traded up and did not get Sanders, and everyone's laughing at them for that. By the way, I do have to update this, but it's still 5 is greater than 2. Shed those fucking tears and fuck the Eagles. Cry, Eagles, cry. I had to do that to you. I'm sorry, Meatball Ron. I had to do that to you.
Long Dog, take it easy.
Guys, You could be anywhere. You're here with us chilling. Thank you for hanging with us here on My Cowboys Family.
A big mahalo to Mark as well.
Yes. Remember what it's all about here. We're going to try to do our outro the way we always do this. You know, the memorable MCF way for almost 9 motherfucking years on YouTube. Guys, you know why we do this, guys, here.
Why do?
Why do we do
We
this,
do.
baby? You remind me this time.
Hey, it's that navy blue.
Oh, wait. Remind me without me speaking. I'm sorry. What is the reason why we do this, baby, here for our Dallas Cowboys for almost 9 years?
It's not the baby blue. It's that navy blue.
Hell yeah.
That silver, too.
You know it.
And that star over everything.
Hell yeah, you know that. Guys, almost 9 years, but it's been a lifetime of love when it comes to us and the Dallas Cowboys. At least me and Dallas Cowboys have been about 12 for you. But it's Cowboys for life. We got gear for years. You know what it's about here, guys. On this channel, no matter what, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. And it's pretty fucking ugly, 29 years was being a Cowboy fan. There's one thing that matters here over everything, and it's that star, baby. Always over everything. And of course, here at My Cowboys Family, never forget here, almost 9 years on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's try to get that goddamn 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Cannot do this without the back and forth. Much extra special love for those that drop the love support from above. Cannot do it without your drops of love from above sprinkling through. And of course, thank you all for joining us here as we drop out and clock out for the night. Relock and reload for day 2, rounds 2 and 3 of the draft tomorrow, as we give you a quick recap and a quick discussion on what you think about our draft tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Baby, how did it end, by the way? I think the poll ending with...
Sure. Wrap it up and I'll read the results.
Yeah, right there. I think we got them right there.
90 votes, guys.
90.
Your grade on our first round pick, Tyler Booker. 45% of you guys said AB. 31% said BC. 13% says CD. 10% said DF. So it actually increased to the AB side of things by enough. I mean, 4 percentage points is pretty.
4 or 5% is a lot.
That's significant enough.
So a couple of new people that, hey, a little above average and below average on this one. I'm going to keep it above average because it's a lineman. It's a Cowboy lineman, and we know how to develop them. Yes. But maybe a little too high, a little too much of a reach. That's probably the big. That's a great description of that.
But we'll always try our best to believe in our Cowboys.
Always love the star over everything, and that's what I want to say, guys. As we clock on, drop out for the night, relock and reload for round 2 tomorrow. Round 2 and 3, I should say. There's only one last thing to say before we can drop out and clock out for the night. Baby, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Our beat's been dropped, and it's a wrap here on My Cowboys Family. Thank you all for rocking with us. You could always check out the MCF After Dark and MCF After Dark 2, but you'd have to search for that. You'd have to want to find that. And if we go live, we go live. If we don't tonight, we don't. It's all good. We'll go live tomorrow on that channel after this draft talk here on MCF. So anyways, guys, have a good night. Stay safe. You can be anywhere you're here listening to our Cowboy news, info, and updates. Appreciate you guys as we discussed our first round pick, our draft recap for our 2025 Dallas Cowboys. Offensive guard from Alabama, picked in the 12th spot overall, Tyler Booker. Question marks all around. Replacing Zack Martin. Congratulations to the young man. Let's get Trayvon Henderson, and let's get rolling, baby. Here in MCF, you know it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing, though, here at MCF, My Cowboys Family. It's you guys, the family, representing it for us. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. Of course, join up in the Discord. Join that fun 24/7, 365 football talk. And of course, in the description down below, you know where all that stuff, you can go for all those things. You can leave your comments as well. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you for round 2 and 3, day 2 of the draft tomorrow. Peace. And never, ever forget, Cowboys.
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.